Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Whims of the Creator. My name is J3 Puffin, and I'm here today with Gadget
We're back!
and Volke
Hello.
and Blank.
Hi, hi.
And we're here today to talk about Fire Emblem Radiant, which is a Volke custom set, so he is held hostage for the whole thing. He ain't gonna drop out like Scooby-Doo, which was still reasonable, but, he's stuck with us this time.
Technically, we're all stuck in this one.
Yeah, we've we've had to sit down and do this a couple of times now. We have not gotten past yellow as of recording this intro. We will hopefully be able to move past that now that we've diagnosed the viruses and uninstalled and reinstalled things, and it's been a good time here.
Now that JB has purged the branded from his system.
I think I still need to get Alistair or something again, exorcism on this, because there's still something going on in the videos folder. God only knows. Anyway, so for the content that we're actually here to talk about, Volk, for the folks at home who don't recognize a Fire Emblem from another game of chess, what is Fire Emblem?
Fantasy war simulator, anime characters usually, maybe some dating sim. That's usually the newer ones though. Pretty decent story.
Yeah,
This one's got a whole race war included too.
Yeah, we are not dealing with like a full series set or whatever. This is just two Radiant games, which have names: Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn.
If you've played Smash Bros, Ike is the main character.
Yeah, the boy is in this one. As you might expect, he's good in this, because if he wasn't, there would be actual other crimes on our hands. Obviously, Volka's played the games. He made the fucking set. I have not played either of these, but I've played some of the other Fire Emblem games. Gadget, where are you on the Fire Emblem spectrum again?
So the Radiant series is like a main game and then a sequel to that game. I have played the sequel. I have not played the original, but I basically know the important plot points. And then beyond that, I've played a couple of the GBA ones, and I've played a couple of the DS ones, and I played Three Houses on Switch. There's a lot of different facets of Fire Emblem. This set is going to be just focused on the Radiance and the mechanics and themes associated with that.
I've also not played any Fire Emblem.
Blind reaction.
Yeah,
we
need, yeah, I mean, obviously except for the yellow bit. Once we get past yellow, it is back to being straight blind. And the first time we did this, it was completely blind. But yeah, so speaking of mechanics, these cards are untranslated from Volkese. We did Pikmin. Pikmin, we had like the side-by-sides. We don't have those for this one. And you can blame the Lagoos, those fucking furries. So yeah, you're not going to have like a clean Weiss translation for this. These are playtest language, and they will still be parsable. But there, as Gadget is wont to say, there will be implications. So let's actually look at these numbers in this set breakdown here. 120 cards in the main set, 6 promos, no trial deck, and still with 16 climaxes across the set, which is not as bad as the no patience ratio, but is still definitely a significant amount of cards that want climaxes in play to do the things. We have some cards that are like quote-unquote double combos, but honestly, I don't think we have anything that's like a strict double combo. I think it's like changers and stuff, which is fine. The actual climax lineup for this is fascinating. There are 3-ish that are you can actually play like straight lineups of. Like, you have a little bit more versatility even with Door, because you got 3 of them running around. But the rest of it is one-ofs, which means that if you want to put something together, you do have to mix and match quite a bit. We also have this one-of this bank trigger. And for anyone who has not been in the Discord server, you may ask, the fuck is bank? Well, bank is like a spin-off of really bag. It's like a bag remix. It's a 1k one with a solo trigger. When this card triggers, you may search your stock for one card, put it into your hand, shuffle your stock. If you do, put the top card of your deck into your stock and put this card into your stock. So you get to search your stock, grab whatever the hell you want, put it in your hand. And if you do, you blind stock to replace the card you took out, so you don't lose stock off of it. So it's kind of like taking an evolution on the whole like green is obsessed with stock, but it didn't have a trigger that actually had like a soul trigger on it, which is just a random thing that they probably should have, just to be fair.
Mhm.
In original draft, this was just bag, but completely better, because if you didn't search, you still got the blind stock, so you just got to choose your mode, which was probably a little bit too much. Yeah, we don't have a full set of these as like a lineup. You get one bank, and that's it. But hypothetically, some other set could do some wacky things with this. And this is not the wording you will find in the MSC copy that's available right now. I, at some point, should probably get a hold of Ron and be like, hey, I updated all these triggers. Here you go.
Here you go.
But yeah. The other major note before we get into this, there's like 7 or 8 actual like archetypes for decks in this that beyond just like the climax lineups and stuff. You could obviously build like just pile.txt, but you can also follow in line with some of these like pre-built game plans, and we'll see a couple in each color going through.
We'll try to highlight the ones that are in whatever archetype. I have a list sitting next to me, so I'll remember to point them out.
Yeah.
Not all of them are hard locked to said archetype, but
No, they're not.
there are a couple that are.
Yeah.
There's a couple cards that would be completely terrible in a normal pile, but you might play because they're in archetype. Just as an example.
And there are definitely some piles that are, or some archetypes that are more favored than others. It's not racist if it's true, Lagoos. Anyway.
God. All right, yeah.
With that said, let's look at some yellow cards.
Ray.
Again.
So, our first on the list is Galleon Warrior Leith. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, she gets 2,500 power, and on opponent reverse, clean cut traded character. That's the global trait right there, the Tellius trait. And also, on death, pitch a card to top check 4 for a level 1 or higher. So, in case you didn't think your clean cut was good enough, a Fuka or a Chiri, whichever one of those is the correct profile name. I think, depending on who you ask, they're interchangeable or they're not.
Blank, do you wanna ask the question you asked before we started recording?
Oh, yeah. So place on hand from stage is apparently a 3 times multiplier. So it's paying 1,000 power for that first effect. Because it's the traded clean cut is technically a 500 power ability.
Yeah. Let's be clear. I don't think either of us really believe Bushi has the cojones to print a card this good. But there is that, Blank pointed out, there is that card in Blue Archive, which is a 3k if you're playing the game, and then on play you get to give another character traitless clean cut, which is just like, yeah, it's traitless clean cut on that Blue Archive card. It's actually pretty crazy. So this is like, look, this is your Fuka Zero, this is your deck speed card. It's also like incidentally a clean cut if you want to like clean cut any of your cards at 0 that you want to save for the back row. And it also just happens to be a Lagoos, which happens to have a bunch of implications later. I don't think it being yellow matters too much, but it does mean that you can. There's a certain card that we'll talk about in a little bit that becomes way more splashable than it probably would be if it wasn't for the fact that this card and the next card are both yellow. So we'll talk about it when we get to it, but like I don't think I need to explain how good this is. It's a Fuka Zero, which you'd already probably played 2 or 3 copies of for deck speed, and then it just incidentally can be a plussing 0 for you. Like, obviously this card's insane.
And I guess just from a lore standpoint, since I didn't do that the first time around, the mechanic in the game for Lagoos, just going forward, is that most of them have a limited time in their transform state because they're all shapeshifters. So her on play being just the turn she's played, and then she goes back to base power for the rest of it, turns out to be pretty decent lore anyway.
She gets to be a mountain lion for like a hot second and then goes back to being a person.
I think we're like almost to the precipice where this could get printed, but I was looking at the original version, which was like 500 power and only got 2k and the clean cut ability. But like they did print that Ayakashi card, which is a stock bomb Fuka Zero. That's like more disrupting your opponent than, field plussing you or whatever. I still don't think they'd print it, especially not the fact that it gets to be 35. Because before
I
it
mean,
was
it gets
2.5,
35
and I was
is
like, okay, but this is
yeah.
Well, no, before it got to 3K, because I don't think I changed it from 2.5. I just
Yeah,
made
it
it
was.
500
maybe
stronger.
I don't remember.
The old version, the math was off on it because it was plus 25 and traitless clean cut. Now it's plus 25 and traded clean cut, which means it only costs 1,000 for that, as opposed to the old version, which would have cost 1,500. This card reads insane, but it's actually on spec for Bushi math, which, if you think about it, is just absolutely wild. But here it is. All right, and this is Leanne, Princess of Serenus. So she is a global 5 to all Telios trait characters, which is every card in the set. And then she is on play, pay 1, top of deck to clock, search your deck for level 1 or lower character, add to hand. Traitless, True Ricky. I probably should say a Telios character, right?
Uh,
Probably.
does Kanata say Hololive? Or just say 1 or lower?
I don't even know.
Because
It doesn't really matter. The point is that it. I know that we care about the wording for like Bushi math and stuff, but we know what this card is. I just don't want to spend too much time on it because like the main thing with this is like, yeah, it's true, Ricky. You probably play it. The one frustrating thing about this card is that it doesn't have a relevant front row effect. So like normally on a Ricky, you might want it to be like a top 2 rearrange or plus power on turn. Instead, this is a global 5, which means that like you can't just shove it out there, do its effect, and then hope it dies. You have to like ideally you would want this to stick around and give your characters power. So whereas other decks like Azure Lane or like I don't know Hololive, you might play 4 of this card. In this deck, you might only play 2 or 3. Having said that, it is a good card. It does search you lightning level 1 or lower, and it is also a Laguz, which might matter for certain cards we'll see later. I think this is like a B, straight B for me. I think like I like Chiriki, but I don't think I'd play more than like 2 or 3 of this.
I mean, I
Invest.
start at 4 and cut back if I think I need to. This also synergizes with the clean cut pretty well because now it swings at 4K
Yeah.
and also
Correct.
saves this for the global power effect afterwards.
Mhm.
Huh,
That's usually how we did it in testing.
that makes
I
a lot of
think
sense.
in the Laguz deck you run probably 3 to 4, but in anything else probably 1 or 2.
I will always start at 4 and then cut back. I don't know what other clock pluses you got in this, but
This might actually be it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll
because
see.
there's like that Pokemon philosophy, at least in like recent Pokemon.
hmm
They have a bunch of cards that like you can only play on your first turn,
Yeah.
and it's like Pokemon can last multiple turns, right?
Right.
But they play 4 of it because it's just like, well, this is discard fodder now, but
hmm
you want to see it early.
Right.
And then, like, if you really need to, you can use this not on the first turn because this isn't like locked. It's just, Ricky's better early because you don't mind clocking yourself.
Right. Not to mention level 0 game with plus 500 is good.
I mean, plus 500 has implications throughout the rest of it. Like, there's a bunch of combos that swing at 7,500, and there's a bunch of standby level 1 targets that are 7,500. So this means you're clearing the lane instead of just tying with it.
Right.
Get those Yames up to 8K. The dream.
You and your Yames.
I love the Yame. What can I say?
Volk, what's the lore on Leanne here?
Leanne is a member of one of the bird tribes in the game, which there are 3 of. She belongs to the Herons, which have no combat ability whatsoever, but they are all support. They cover what in any other Fire Emblem game would be the Dancer, which just allows one of your other characters to move again. So foregoing your own extra character for reusing another one. In the second game, they get other songs that they can sing that do different stuff, but their main purpose is just reinvigorate. She, however, basically gets cut off from the rest of her people because, spoilers to anybody who cares to play, her entire race, aside from her and like 3 of her family members, get massacred, and she just gets sealed in by the forest that they used to live in for like 20 years.
Ew. That's a little unfortunate.
Bare minimum, little unfortunate.
Bare
Just a
minimum,
tad.
bad.
To be fair, she was asleep for those 20 years, so it's like,
They
at
like
least she didn't
Whip
witness
and
the
Winkled it.
massacre.
She is
Yeah.
sleeping beauty. and then the plot.
Like
will
the
go.
forest they lived in was magical enough to protect her, or something.
She doesn't speak common either. She speaks like the ancient language.
I think it's just called the ancient language.
Yeah,
Basically,
okay.
all the songs that these herons sing are in an ancient language, and that ancient language is used for most magic in their world.
Right.
But they speak it fluently, unlike other people.
So the bird people were Skyrim dragons.
Fucking,
So
when I looked up the lore on this shit, herons have like the second longest lifespan in the game, next to dragons,
Well, there you go.
which is insane. I figured they just
So-
lived normal bird
the
or
bird
like
people
human.
are dope. That's what I'm
Mhm.
hearing.
That's why they all.
They
died.
are very dope.
Burb.
Burb.
Well, speaking of wings,
This is Elincia, Queen of Crimea. Let's see. It's 2 or more. Global trade gets 1,000. When this card attacks, you reel top card of your deck and deal damage equal to that card's level. And the combo with this choice over here is heal. This is Lion King
Yes.
from FGO.
Tasmania.
Wrong Lion King.
Well, to be fair, they're in Weiss too, so
Correct.
we
Crossover
do
event.
clarify FGO.
Mhm.
I think I said a lot about this card in the first time we went through this, but basically my thoughts are compared to like everything else the set has, this card's kind of mid. It's not bad or anything, but like we'll see in a few slides, there's a Skrymir that's way better than this in my opinion, and even that card's like not that playable. And one thing to note of this is that it can, first of all, it can early play. There's a card that can early play this, and Volk's gonna read the event next, but this card is a of Crimea, which is one of the other archetypes that the set has, and that is kind of relevant because this event here. There's an event in Grand Order that does this exact same thing, right? It's like marker compression.
Yep.
Yeah, so like this event package is in this set. It's like okay, and you need to have Crimea characters on board in order for the event to work. As a package, it's just kind of okay, and I think that there's better things in this that you can be playing too. But yeah, card's fine. It's just kind of whatever for me. Nice.
Just as a thing, I don't think we mentioned it last time, but that secondary trait is important later. I've never actually tried it, but there is one standby combo in this set, and it is Pegasus themed. So she can technically fit into that if you want to just have her for the off finisher effect and not her
Yeah.
climax combo.
That's what Lion was mostly played for anyway. Like even sometimes they ran the choice just because they didn't want to squeeze in another top end on top of it. But you know what? Since it can go in the standby deck, I'm gonna we'll give it a B.
Yeah,
Yo, burn good.
there was some card in Umi Neko that the combo was the damage and the on attack was the heal, and Gadget's comment on it was, these worst.
Yeah,
Did the on attack heal cost anything, or was it just on attack heal?
It had a cost to it.
Okay,
Because
just checking.
Yeah, that is. Don't worry. That card was basically balanced.
Basically.
And if you want to see it for yourself, go watch that video. All right. Moving on.
Rayments of House Crimea. It's what was the name of that event? Fucking Rite of the Lion King or something.
Rite of Holy Selection or something like that.
Yep, there you go. If you have an Elincia, which there's the whole list of them. If you don't have one, you can't play this card from hand. On play, choose one of your characters with of Crimea and its name that doesn't have a marker already. Put this underneath, and it gets 1,000 until the end of the turn. And then look it up to 4 cards from the top of your deck for one Tellius character, and reveal it. Put it to your hand and mill the rest. Generic top 4 with marker compression.
It's solid.
Pause.
It is.
Oh,
It
I'm
is
not.
a perfectly fine card. Like I built a $20 deck out of FGO. I haven't played the quote unquote meta version. I just built the Pharaoh deck and called it a day.
Yeah.
It's deck speed. I think that this is like fine if you want to play marker compression, but it's just like here for me. If you need a deck speed card, this is like the deck speed card in the set, I think. But you do have to have Elincias to play, and there's not any like generic Elincias. I don't think. I actually don't remember what this blue one does. This one might be generic.
The second one and the last one are generic.
Yeah, but the 1-0 is a climax combo, so you actually have to be playing blue to like
No,
utilize
No,
it.
not
the yellow level 1-0.
Yellow one.
Yeah, technically that card is generic.
Oh, okay, got it.
I
Okay,
also don't think we went over the fact. We'll get to the 1-0. I'll talk about it with the 1-0.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So we didn't actually talk about Alincia yet, but there's probably we have like 5 cards of her. We still have another 4. There's gonna be plenty of space to talk about her.
I mean, I can go over it
Yeah.
if we want to do that now. Alincia in the first game is the princess of the main character's country. Her country gets invaded by their neighbors. She escapes, but her parents and her uncle are basically assumed to be dead because they basically got surprise attacked and their entire country got wiped out in like a couple weeks. But she manages to escape and she recruits the main character and he escorts her, and that's basically how the first game starts. In the second game, they obviously win that fight and she's now the queen. In the first game, she's not great. She has an unbreakable quick weapon and she's a healer, so that's good, and her mobility is great because she's a Pegasus Knight. In the second game, she's one of the strongest fucking characters in there because she starts in 3rd tier and her stats are great, and she still has all the equipment she had from the last game. So fantastic.
I remember the first time I played the end game of this with my brother. I'm pretty sure we took Alincia because she was just the best healer we had. We never even used her to attack. We just realized, okay, she can fly, she has good mobility, and she can heal. Seems broken, right?
Mm-hmm. Not to mention you get like all the good staffs at the end game. So.
Yep.
All right. Moving on. It's immediately more Alincia cards. This is Alincia ready for the front line. A 2/1 with 1,000 power. What in God's name could this mean? Well, don't worry about it. She is a level 3 assist, so all your level 3 or higher in front of her get 2k. She is act, pay 1, rest this card on one of your other characters to grab the event from your waiting room to return it to your hand. And if your level is 2 or higher, this card gets the ability to act, pay 2, rest herself, and a copy of this Count Man, who is talk to him like literally next card, to early play the Queen of Crimea. So basically, it's the flare style early play method, goes into Russia, and it is the same way that you early play the Lion King herself if you wanted to do that in Camelot.
This one's not terribly generic. So.
Yeah, I think this is cool. Thank you for changing it to make it so you had to be level 2 or higher. This card is like fine. It is a Pegasus, so it's also playable in that Pegasus deck with standby that Volke mentioned earlier. I don't know. Do we need to mention anything else about this? I mean, if you're trying to play the Lion King, this card's like fine. It's one of the only 2k assists level 3s in the set, but like that's if you're not playing Lion King, that's like all it does. I guess you could play this without the choice, but then why would you? No, yeah, you could play this without the choice and just have the Lion King be your on attack, reveal top, and then burn for X. But I don't know. I think it's just straight C for me as well. Oops, that's on a C. There you go.
Rated X.
I mean, there is that hypothetical, like, if you could play the event in standby for deck speed, since you only have the one standby climax anyway, so you kind of need something else to do with it. So, like, unless there's another, like, a lower level Pegasus climax that I don't remember, which we'll eventually get to. Yeah, that's...
Well, actually, the blue one might be, but then you're running blue, yellow, red standby, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta split. You gotta play split either way. I did think of like you run like a copy or two of the choice, and then you fill the rest of your top end out of standby. So like you might get the climax just so you could do like a level 2 heal on top of the Yoga.
Yeah.
So that might be.
I don't know what the standby does, so
It'll be
it's going to stay at a C for now. But I could definitely see the camera with the marker effect being played in standby generically if you can fit Alencia cards in there anyway, which there are not many, to be fair. Though those 5 that we saw on the slide, that's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So fitting it into standby and always having an Alencia on board to play the event when you want to could be a little bit of an issue.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Just me.
Okay, so this is Count of Crimea Bastion. If he has a marker under him for any reason, you have to send it to waiting room. When your alias character or this card is placed on stage from hand, you can look at the top card of your deck, and then he is a rest self salvage character.
B for brainstorm.
Yeah, this is like the
B
most
for
underwhelming
Bastion.
brainstorm. B for bad. Lol. No, like I don't know.
He's
Like
aight.
you play him because he's a salvage brainstorm that can give you information, but like I don't know.
You
I think
also
there's a
play him
better.
if you're playing the Lion King at all.
Yeah, absolutely. You need this for the Lion King early play.
Mhm.
I think there's a better brainstorm. There's a better brainstorm in blue that we'll talk about later. But I think this card's like fine if you want the salvage brainstorm. The blue one is a search brainstorm. So you know if you want salvage, here you go. Here's a card that's like okay.
Yeah, definitely gets plus marks in my book for that. Just like it's that easy. Also, just like you can like play it, know ahead of time, do the brainstorm, then your next guy you just know. Having constant top deck knowledge, even if in the simulator, it does get a little bit annoying when like you've got the top card already. It's like, yeah, I know. That like I get it. I'm playing my turn. Stop showing me the pop up, please.
Hey, did you know?
Yeah, it's like it's because like the alternative, right? Usually they'll just like throw the window up when you do it instead of like saying you may look. So like it's gonna waste your fucking time either way.
They should put like a do not show me this again until X changes
Do not
group thing.
Till the
remind
top
me in
card is
X
changed.
tweets.
Lore, I guess. He is a wind mage, hence the green book. And he's like one of the only surviving nobles after they get invaded. And he doesn't come back in until like the end of the game. And he's like the intelligent one of the remainder. Basically, he's just one that handles like most of the politics later on. He's a decent character.
He looks like a dude that would be in politics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Offense intended. Hi, Alencia of Crimea. During your turn, all your characters with of Crimea in their name get 1,000. If you play this card or another of Crimea character, you get to look at the top card of your deck, kind of like the Brainstorm. And this is a Rem slash helmet slash whatever the hell you want to call it. You put this
Sack
card in a
self.
waiting room and one card in your hand in a waiting room and salvage something. What I failed to realize last time we did this is like the only generic back row Alencia to play with that event. And then the 2-1 doesn't have of Crimea in name. So like this card, while all the effects are like niche and you probably would just play it for the Rem otherwise, if you want to play the event, you probably have to play this card because it has both Alencia and name and the of Crimea thing for the marker effect. Is there
Interesting.
any of Crimea in red for like the standby stuff?
No.
No.
Ooh.
Like the brainstorm's Count of Crimea, so he's got it.
But
And then
you can't marker under him.
so
I
it's,
mean, you can. It just removes it immediately.
yeah, you can still target him with it. At least he's still like a valid target for it.
Hmm.
But if
Yeah,
you want
but
to keep
also
the
you
micro compression, then yeah.
well, it's that and the fact of like you need an Alencia on board to use the event. It's not have an of Crimea character on board.
She does 2-for-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to grade this higher than I did previously because I forgot the condition on the event was you have to have one of specifically 5 cards on board.
To be honest,
Niche.
I don't think you play this or the event unless you really want the sack salvage. But like you could play this. This card is actually notable because well, first of all, it's Pegasus trait that's going to matter later apparently. The other thing is that this card is like one of those weird like tier elements Kashtira cards where it's like the whole name of the card is like 2 archetypes because like it's one part Alencia, one part of Crimea. So like for that, I'm gonna give it the plus. But I think I'm with Blank. This is like only somewhat playable. If you're playing the event, and if you're not, it's like okay.
I mean, if you're in yellow, you might just play it as like a vanilla Remram, but you know.
We
In the
forget.
deck it belongs, it's great. And anything else, meh.
So I just realized that we did miss one typo on this card,
Oh
which
yeah.
is that she doesn't say all of your other. So technically, she gives herself 1K right now. Not that it's relevant,
All of you
but like,
characters.
yeah, that would change pricing
All
if
of
it was
you
left that
care.
way. But yeah, we know what it was meant, so it's fun. All right, next up.
Oh yes, we're going over the baddie now. Let's go.
Oh God, yes, yes. Blank's favorite character.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've
Lucia,
only seen
attendant.
yellow to be fair, but yeah, pretty much.
Lucia, attendant of Crimea. During your turn, if you have another Tellius character, this card gets 1500 power. If one of your characters has the 1/0 event from earlier as a marker, this card gets, when it attacks, reveal the top card. If it's level 1 or higher, put it into your stock. Good card, I would say. Or at least decent.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
Um,
In the archetype, I mean, but, you know.
So I was looking through some JP stuff today, and I don't remember the name of the card. But there is, in fact, a card that. So initially, when I saw this, I didn't know if it was on budget or not. There's a card in some other set that's what, like, if another character has a marker, this card gets, like, on attack blind stock or something like that.
It's probably Uma Musume.
I don't
No,
think it
it's some
is
other
actually,
random thing, yeah. It is not Uma.
because Uma would probably have this version of the effect, so I expect it to be an older set.
Yeah, so this is basically on spec, and it ain't half bad for the deck that it
Uh,
goes in.
I think it's a good card, but it's held back by the condition.
Yeah.
So it's probably only ever going in this, like, I'm gonna play Lion King and I'm gonna play all the support around Lion King kind of deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like these. I've spieled about these before in the past. Like you have to be careful about putting these in, blah blah blah. But I think the condition is important enough, and you need the Elincia for the event that it's just kind of like here. I think maybe I would be more harsh on these cards if it wasn't for the fact that we're trying to blitz through this one a little bit. But yeah, no, it's good. Stock is good. Getting you stock is definitely good. And it's not like the
Using the
deck
deck.
needs it either. Like the Lion King doesn't really need the stock. There's a couple other cards. Like the deck runs pretty efficient. So it's just free compression at that point, you know.
Lore, she's basically one of the other surviving retainers at the end, but she acts as Alincia's bodyguard pretty much for the rest of the time after they reunite. And she's also, I guess, intelligence gathering.
Oh yeah,
So she sets up like all of their secret networks for information and all that stuff later on as well.
spy master.
Interestingly, this is not Pegasus trait. This is infantry,
Well, yeah, she doesn't have a
so,
Pegasus.
Yeah.
which I don't know how much it matters, but
Mm.
yeah.
She's one of like that game has the first one only has 3 sword masters, and then the fourth game gets 4. Second game. Oh, also, just a fun little thing that I didn't bring up before, and I wanted to. If you notice back down in there where the logo would be in any of these cards, they have 2 different logos. You'll see it on the next card. It's different. That shows what game this particular image is from. So she is from the first game in this art, and then the next one that we'll talk about is from the second game.
That's pretty cool, actually.
All right, speaking of markers,
Oh Lord, here we go.
Oh,
I did update this
JB,
one, so it's a little more
more
balanced. I wouldn't say
more
it's
balanced.
completely, but you know.
JB,
Okay.
I propose that you and me and Blank read these 3 cards in order so we can talk about the whole package, basically.
yeah, sounds good. All right, so this is Randolph, the right hand to Gallia's future king. This card gets 1500 power for each marker underneath it. How does it get those markers? Well, on play, or from either hand or by the effect of this 1/0 we'll read in a second, you can marker a Lagoo's character in your waiting room. It doesn't say face up or face down. That's one thing I've also missed.
It should be face up, but yeah.
That tracks, yeah. Because all the other markers are going to matter for face up. At the end of the turn, this card is placed by the effect of the 1/0. This card is not reversed. Basically, switch it back to the 1/0, staying a marker underneath it. And then, on attack, if you have the yellow stock soul in your climax area, you can sack that stock soul to put all cards underneath this card's markers as markers in your stock. Now this card gets 2k until the end of your opponent's next turn for each marker put into your stock by this effect. So if you had like 3 markers, it gets 6k and you just plus 3 stock, which because you also have a stock soul means you get up to like 4 stock off of it total, not counting the attack. So technically like 5.
And they're clean.
And most of it's clean, yeah.
Yep, clean. All right, I'm gonna read the 1/0 really quick. So this is Renolf, Game of Cat and Mouse. If he has a marker, he gains 3k. So 6k cross turn with the marker. When he's placed on stage from hand, you can choose the 2/1 Renolf from your waiting room, place it underneath of him as a marker, and then at the beginning of your attack phase, he does the Spy Family thing where you can switch him with the Renolf marker underneath of him. Well, technically any Renolf marker, but there's only like 2. And yeah, you just switch their places. So effectively, if you have the Renolf in your waiting room, this card can marker it and then immediately change into it as a 2/1 at level 1. Yeah, it's just kind of like the piece that gets you there. Really, the implication here is that, unlike in Spy Family, the 2/1 does not change back into the 1/0 after it
That's the
attacks anything.
update that I made, yeah. It does change
Oh,
back now.
That's the
It
third
does
line
change
of
back
effect
now.
I read, yeah.
The only way it doesn't change back is if you've detached all the markers and it has nothing to change to.
Got it. In that case, then
one stays.
It's like normal. And then
So
it is
doesn't
6k
actually say
cross
that.
turn.
What?
Sure.
The 2/1 doesn't actually say that, but it needs to be that if this and it has no markers or whatever.
Well, yeah,
It
because
doesn't say
Well,
where
I mean,
changes
it
from.
can't switch to a different marker if
Yeah.
it doesn't have it.
if
Well,
you
it says
put it
switch it. It doesn't put a zone though.
if you put it in stock with the Climax combo, it doesn't have a marker to switch.
Right, but it doesn't say switch from marker zone. You can switch from whatever zone.
That is a marker under this card.
That-
The end of the
Oh,
sentence.
that is a marker on. Oh, I thought this was and then marker this card. I thought that's what the problem was.
Yeah, no. So if you don't combo, you have to switch back then.
Problem caused
Yeah.
from card text.
Okay, that is a notable change to the cards. This really just is a Spy Family card now, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah. So basically, there's an event that we're going to talk about in a second. But in a vacuum, this
Hold on.
effectively, if you're resolving one of the combo, like JB said, right? You play the 1/0, you marker this Renolf, you do the combo, you marker from waiting room, and then you shove all those cards into your stock. So in a vacuum, one lane of that gets you 2 clean stock, and it gets to sit at like 11k or whatever cross turn. So that's like the floor for this card. Just so we're clear, that's like the floor. That's like the worst case scenario if you're doing the combo. But there is this event here that we're gonna have. Not whatever. We need to have Blank read the event so we can start discussing what the actual way to play Laguz is in this set.
Yeah, 6 of the say.
Okay. This is the stone, the Laguz stone. You choose a Laguz character specifically in your waiting room and this card and put it underneath one of your Laguz characters as a marker. It also has remove this card from marker zone, choose a Laguz character that is your level +1 or lower and is a marker under the same card and switch it with that character. Switch it with the character that is a marker for until the end of your turn.
At the end of the turn, if the character is not reversed, switch it back. So You don't have to do this. You don't do the switch if it's reversed, which is different from like a D side or something. I'm pretty sure, but I think the timings are different
Let
on
me
that.
go check the exact card text, but those like switch from memory
Yeah, they're
and shit.
wild.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very silly. You have an Adachi that never loses its lane. It's
Yes,
very silly.
it's pretty good.
Just to clarify here, so that because I know the card reads weird. You play the event. You choose a Lagoose character in your waiting room, which can be your Fuka Zero. It can be your Leanne Ricky if you want.
Mhm.
You put it under another character on your stage, and then you put the stone under that character as well.
Correct.
And then while this card is a marker under a character, you can remove this card as a marker to choose a Lagoose character that is your level +1 or lower, and you switch it. So effectively, let's say that your opponent had like blinked your Randolph 1-0, right? If you play this Lagoose Stone, you can put the Lagoose Stone and the 2-1 Randolph from your waiting room under it as markers, and then send the Lagoose Stone to immediately switch your Randolph into the 2-1 Randolph, if you so desire.
I mean,
That's the intent of this card, basically.
Yeah,
granted, in that situation, you wouldn't use the stone to switch to the Ranulf. You would just wait until the beginning of battle phase.
Correct, but
Yeah.
we've only seen these two cards.
Yes,
That's why I'm kind of
correct.
explaining it in context. And yes, audience, don't worry. There are going to be way more crazy implications of this that we'll talk about in a little bit. The main thing we need to discuss here is that because this event can marker any Lagoose character under the Renoff, you can potentially use this to get up to like 3 markers under the 2-1, and then the combo adds a 4th marker, right?
So the 1-0 Ranulf gets the 2.
Yes.
You play the event, put another one under the 1-0 and the marker.
Oh, I
Or
see.
in the event.
But
And
when
then
the
it
2-1
flips.
when the 2-1 is placed from the effect of the 1-0, you also get to marker it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
So, you've
So
got
4 markers in that
Yes.
regard.
So 4 markers, 4 clean stock off of 1 resolution of the climax combo. You do have to sack the climax, but if you factor in the stock you get from the climax plus all these markers, it's like 5 clean stock total.
yeah, you
Yeah.
you get 7 stock on your level 1 turn, like minimum, provided you don't have some other stuff going on, which is a hell of a lot of stock.
Yes.
Also,
Mhm.
you don't have to pay the stock down to play the 2-1
Mm-hmm.
because you just change
Yes.
into it
So
because
it's
you're cheating level and cost.
so it's like you go like 8. Yeah.
And don't worry, guys. If that sounds broken, I just want you guys to know how broken it sounds if you consider that this used to not sack the climax.
Uh-huh.
So you used to be able to get 3 resolutions of this, potentially 6 to 8 clean stock if you played the event.
Also, it used to not change back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some
Though, to be fair, for Gadget's example, I didn't have Lagoose Stone back then either.
Yeah, this
You
Lagoose
did.
Stone's
It
a
still
pro
was 2 markers per, but you know.
The point I'm trying to make here is that originally this card was designed to kind of be unintentionally. This felt like Alice. It was like Alice, but way easier because you weren't relying on a brainstorm and playing to a really small deck state. You could just go, okay, I play 3 of my 1-0 and I unga bunga, I change immediately.
Yeah.
Now there's at least a little bit more. I wouldn't call it like gameplay, but like there's at least a little bit more thought into playing this. Because while you can get 2 markers for free to make these 8K cross turn, so they're not 10-5s like the Alice was, you do get to make one of these like 12 to 13K. So it's like an old school style 2-1 combo where you're just kind of doing one lane of your nut. Um, but even then, like 2-1 8Ks that switch back into 6Ks, like that's not even that bad. Like Blank said, right? You send all the markers so that it no longer has a change target. So now you do get one lane of that 11K cross turn, but the other ones that do have the marker have to change back. So that can be a potential downside. But hey, it incentivizes you to actually play the combo over and over again. I think with the changes that we've done here, this card is like way more fair. I still don't know if it's like lower than an S. Like it's still really good. We need to test it more.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and then there's also the implication of it actually potentially comboing really well with another. Actually, no, you fixed that other card, right?
Premier,
The
yes.
2-1. Okay, so we don't need to talk about that bullshit because that was my god.
It doesn't get quite as hard, but technically, there's still some shit you can do with that.
This card's like real good. It's somewhere in here, depending on the things. And like I said before, your Ricky and your Fukuzir are both in yellow. So even in decks where you might not conventionally think this is playable, you could still potentially use it as level 1 combo to do stock generation, and that's going to have some implications for other things we'll talk about later. But yeah, and we are talking about it a lot, but this card is like kind of one of the most important cards in yellow, and it is like the level 1 combo for the Laguz deck, so that's why I'm kind of discussing it a lot. But
yeah, I think just as a preface, just for themes going forward, I'm pretty sure I put, for the most part, the Beast Tribe in yellow, which is all of the cats, pretty much. The birds are split between blue and the one that's in yellow. The herons are weird. They're kind of in their own lane, but most of the birds are in blue, and then the dragons are split between green and red. But that's just side note.
I don't know what like completely is in this set, but doing that, I kind of forgot that you just do this at level 1. like, I was like, wait. So it's like 7 stock, and then 4 of it's guaranteed clean if you have the event. The one that combos is definitely living if you do that. And then you have the fact that you're like clean cut, you're a good plussing 0 is also providing you all this mill, so you have the markers, like the targets engraved to actually do the marker thing.
Yes.
I mean, this thing's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna give it this. I don't know what it sets up exactly, but I'm a little concerned.
we're not going to talk about it for a long time, but potentially this does combo very nicely with another card in blue.
I will say, just in terms of deck commitment, this takes up a lot of space if you're running all of the pieces.
Mm-hmm. That certainly
Man,
does.
and the mill is a Fuka 0, so it can grab the Laguz stone. This is okay. This is stupid.
Kinda, yeah.
There's definitely some doubt to be had on if this man is on budget. I don't think the exact form of this combo exists anywhere.
Stupid ass rock.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
the God only knows. It's probably wrong, which makes sense, but it's one of those cards. It's like if this changes so much, core to the rest of this set changes. It's
On another note, this is one of the promos.
Sorry, no, I'm still talking about the 2-1.
Sorry. I mean the rock.
The rock is the promo.
Yeah, don't worry. We're taking these one at a time. I guess we don't rate the 1-0 separately, really, in the grand scheme of things. Like, he's here.
You're only playing him if you're playing the 2, so.
I mean, he is also just like 6K cross is respectable, but also just like, yeah, I'll summon my 2-1 that is definitely living. And because it markers this 1-0, it just goes away. It goes to a zone you don't ever need to see it again.
Yeah.
Because you only ever need to combo this once. You don't need to like pay it out of stock.
Nope.
You just go find a different one.
Yep.
Because you're gonna be playing like 4/4, so you have the marker stuff online probably.
Yeah, when you put it like that, that's yeah.
Yeah. It's just 4 copies of the guy that becomes the other guy. The funny part is this is debatably on spec because the marker power thing is about right. I think it's like a 3/2 relationship there. You pay 2K for that. There's a good shot that you can't just like freely switch from a 1-0 to a 2-1. Like, no other place is this a thing that you just get to do without having to pay like some other cost somewhere. So that's wrong. But again, you change this, a lot of other shit just kind of starts collapsing in on itself, which may not be a bad thing considering what we're dealing with, but
you have 1-0s that change into 1-1s, but like
yeah,
that's more text than a 1-1's allowed to have.
Yeah,
that 2-1 is.
1-0 straight into a 2-1. Like, you'd probably put like a cost on the change effect or somewhere you
Yeah.
put the one stock in so that you actually have to put some investment in.
Yeah,
But
probably just a pay 1 or a pay 2 even.
put an actual limit on the resource you're not about to refund massively. Before
Yeah.
we move out of Ranulf, we want to talk about what Catman do.
In the first game, Ranulf is like the first Laguz you ever meet in the game, like to the main character at least. And he is effectively, I guess, the strongest of his species. You can see in the back of the 2-1, he is another cat like Lith from the top of the list. But he's a blue cat. And throughout the rest of the game, he pops in and out. He's like one of the core main characters from then on. And in the second game, he becomes an aid to the next character we're going to talk about. And he ends up being like the right-hand guy, which is why in that level 2, he's named as such.
Yeah, you can see, yeah, because you can see like the 1-0s from game 1 and then the 2-1s from game 2.
Yep. In that game 1, it's like a couple levels after you meet him, you're trying to like get on a boat, and he's just like, all right, while y'all get to the boat that I arranged for you to leave in, I'm gonna go distract the enemy soldiers and run around and fuck with them. And I believe the line cat and mouse something or other gets used in the game. It's been a while since I read it. Uh, Otherwise, that combo for the level 2, crossing the Raban, is like one of the major cutscenes in the game. And that guy he's jumping on comes up later, and he'll have a separate card from that matching scene.
Neat.
Not on the same combo, but, the character itself. I should say Ranulf gets his ass kicked in that fight, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's any of the people I think it could be, it does not go well.
I don't know how to rate this rock because some
Yeah,
of the stuff's changed.
this stupid ass rock. Like,
It still has implications for Laguz down the line that are in other colors as well,
yeah,
because you can early play them without color requirement, but they do go away at the end of the turn.
uh-huh. Yeah, no, this does so much shit. This does so much random shit. Like, not random, I guess. Like, at some level this was
Spontaneous.
like at some level this was like this is intelligent design. We're talking to the creator as we speak. This was done on purpose. But why? Like the purpose is terrifying. Like it lets
So,
you break color requirements. It's costless, like stockless. Like as long as you have the guys in waiting room. Like I feel like maybe this is where you put the stock cost instead of on the like actually no. I think Randolph probably needs like to still have
maybe
his
for the
ability.
change effect, yeah, but the markering, I don't think you really need a stock for that, do you?
No, it
I
would probably
mean,
you'd
this
probably like pay 1, remove this card as a marker or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like the first effect, you technically go minus a hand to put this and the other card underneath as a marker.
Right. Lore reasons, as for the design of this, in the game, there are items that you can get that like speed up the transformation for the beasts or keep them transformed. Laguz Stone is just an instant transformation when you use the item, hence why it does what it does.
Yeah, we get like similar items in later games that come up. Like they'll have like these like foci basically that let them hold a transformation. Although I'm shaky on if those are also Lagoos in
So,
like Fates or whatnot.
no. In pretty much any other Fire Emblem game, those are like Manikeets and shapeshifters, and they need those stones just to transform in the first place. Lagoos in these games can transform without anything. They can just do it on their own. This just speeds the process up.
The power was diluted.
Yes. Depending on the theory you subscribe to, the Lagoos eventually, like, something happened to the world, and if you connect all of the worlds into one timeline, like some magic disaster fucked up and the shapeshifters kind of got weakened by it or something, to the point where they needed the stones.
importantly, there are dragons in the Radiant series, but they're not Manicheets in the same way that they are in like Awakening or
Like even the
like
original Fire Emblem.
the true dragons in Fate or whatever they were called.
Like later on, there are things called divine dragons, which, again, depending on the lore you subscribe to, people have theorized that like the Laguz dragons got blessed by the goddess when she left, and then they just became divine dragons later. Fun stuff.
The wiki does not tell me what race, like, if the kitsune that Kaden is actually breaks down to like a subclass of something, unfortunately.
Nope.
There's no.
No.
Wolfskin are not Laguz, neither are the Kitsune.
They're just
Mhm.
different thing. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Next up.
Although there are wolf Laguz, but we'll get to that later.
Right.
Yeah, not confusing at all. We know. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
Whose turn
I
is it?
don't even know what's going on
Yeah. Speaking
anymore.
of confusing, this is gonna be.
I guess
Volks.
it's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I read this down.
Right. All right. So this is Skrimir. He is the future king that Ranulf serves. If this card has a marker underneath, it gets plus 2,500 power. When this card is placed on stage from hand or by the effect of Galleon General Skrimir, you can draw 2 cards and then put a card from hand in the waiting room. And then his climax combo, which is a shot trigger, is in your climax area when this card attacks. If he has the level 2 as a marker, you can Icy Tail 5 for zeros. Or if you don't have the level 2 as a marker, you can pay 1 for that effect instead. And we'll do the level 2 next, I guess.
Here we can just do that real fast because he's fairly straightforward. Like literally, it is just a 4,500 on play marker, the level 3, and then when you play the climax, if you're level 2 or higher, you can switch him until the end of your opponent's next turn, and the level 3 gets hexproof. Oh yeah, permanent switch, and then until the end of your opponent's next turn, the level 3 gets hexproof. So pretty good.
So just because it's worded kind of weird to me. On reverse, if you have the shot and you
yes,
have the
it
marker,
is an on reverse effect. Yes.
Yeah, but you freely bottom 5 Icy Tail, burn them for X is level zeros. If you don't have the marker, it's just a pay 1 to do that.
Yes.
Pay 1 on reverse, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pay 1
so
on reverse.
effectively this is kind of like the Zeldris from 10 Commandments, but with upside, because you can use the marker to have it be for free, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Zeldris' climax is not zeros, though. But also,
okay.
Zeldris has anti-burn tacked onto that effect as well, so...
Yeah.
Also, I don't think it hits for zeros, does it?
No, it's
that's what I
climax.
just said, yeah.
Zeldris hits for climaxes.
Yeah.
That's a trade-off. But on the other hand...
And this one gets to be free and done at level 2.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, and like even beyond that, the God, it's just solidly off budget. The marker thing is technically the wrong number, even if it was like a 500 ability. Like the Ozymandias gets like 3K, so he would technically get to be a little bigger. But also because he needs to be like a 9,500 base, it just puts him back to where he is now.
Okay, so here, Ozzy gets like 6K. Yeah, it's like he has heal at Encore Step, he has his Climax combo, and then if he has a marker, it's 6K. But I think part of that is like the way he gets a marker is he has to play an additional 2/1 that does not summon him. It is just a 2/1 you have to play and marker underneath of him.
I mean, you can also just put. Wait.
No, you can't put the event under him.
Yeah, no, because he's a
It's not the right
different
subtrait.
Yeah.
Like marker math gets really weird, right? Because some sets it is really easy to get a marker. And then some sets, so Uma's the one I always go to. Uma is costed in a way where all of their require a marker effects are equivalent to like a discard 1. because the only way to get a marker in that set is by eating another character on your stage. There's no other way to get a marker in that set. So it's set dependent on like how marker math works, if that makes any sense.
I'm pretty sure it is just the fact that the having a marker without another thing on it is just that insane of a multiplier too. Like if the base thing is like a 6x multiplier because you're having to like, the card itself isn't getting resources, that's basically the determinant, right? Like if a card can get its own markers, right, it doesn't get half as much of a discount as these other effects. Like you look at like the 2-3 different variants of like a futaba, like the difference between like markering like event or trait versus just markering trait. And then you have guys who are like on play, get this specific thing out of your winning room. Like all of them are different multipliers. But ultimately, like if you're forced to have a marker to get some extra effect, but you can't get it yourself, it's like a 6 times multiplier on power and shit. It's insane.
Yeah, this guy's not as big because he gets his own marker for free.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? The level 3 itself doesn't do that. Which is why, like, it gets to have, like, a crazy multiplier on the power. It's just that it's not quite the right multiplier. Also, that
Okay,
combo
so
is
it's not
probably...
the right multiplier.
Also, that combo is probably 1k, let's be honest.
Bottom 5 for zeros is...
Even with on reverse, like... Because you also have, like, the discount effect, so, like... Yeah.
And not to mention he can come down for one stock as it is. So
Yeah, he can come down from
at
one
level
stock
2.
to level 2. Ugh. Yeah, no.
Oh hey. Fuck you.
Yeah. God.
Not to
All right.
mention more decks are playing more zeros and,
Ever.
you know, other shit.
Chainsaw
So
Man.
like
Chainsaw Man.
these level 0 icy tails just get better as time goes on, I think, because level 0 quality goes up.
Yeah.
So, a couple things about this. It is on a level 3 is on a shot combo, which is not a plusing trigger, but this card is super playable. Even if you just want to play the top end as a 10k vanilla on play draw 2 ditch, and then do the pay 1 icy tail, even with like that in mind, it would still be like kind of feasible to, right? Like it's not even like a downside hardly. I think if you're trying to play this to like a Lagoo's pile, basically, right? If you're trying to make that like happen, I think this becomes way more playable. So like in a vacuum, it's probably like a B something. It probably peaks like an A minus or an A. I think this is like the top end you're playing in the Lagoo's deck. I don't know what other things there are in green because I know Volke added a couple cards that I'm not familiar with. There is the ability to change into it in order to play at level 2 that is kind of pushing it over the edge for me. Like for me, I think the 2-1's probably like a B. Yeah, because you don't summon it from waiting room, but you have to switch as marker. So, but there's no counterplay to it. If you have it in waiting room, you just get to marker it, so that's fine. This is like I think an A minus. I think I want to play this combo. I played the Aaron Titan combo in Attack on Titan. Obviously, it would be better if it was off a choice, but it's off a shot, and that's still pretty flavorful for the character. And like, you don't even care that badly. There was something else about this card that I don't remember what it was.
Well, it used to
But
be more broken.
yeah, it did used to be more broken. But you know, it's kind of just nice.
Yeah, when I say this card used to be more broken, I don't mean this card specifically. This text hasn't really changed as far as I remember. The change that was made was more the love on the changer itself, because you used to not say level 2. So what you would do is you'd play, whatever 1-0 Lagoos that you wanted. Probably are just using like a Randolph for this because you're gonna have a spare because you're not gonna do like more than one copy of the combo. Throw a Lagoo stone under it. Choose the level 2 as your target for that, and then it gets to become, using the stone, it gets to go from being the level 2 into that. Alternatively, if you had a 2/1 that survived a turn, you could use another copy of the marker, or you'd use the stone, put the level 3 under, and then switch. That was the thing you could do. There's a way to chain these that you got, I think, with like 2 Lagoo stones. You could chain it so that the level 1 goes into this finisher combo at starting at level 1. You only get the 1 turn of it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because there is what you technically would also be able to do is just get the 2/1, have the level 3 under it as a marker already because you have the stones under it, use the 2/1's climax change effect, and then you don't have to change them back. It's just permanent that you have this level 3 starting at level 1, which I mean, it then becomes super like susceptible to early plays after a turn cycle, but by then you've already like done some damage push and like you're pretty much guaranteed the reverse, right? And you get to do the combo for free, and you're doing it into like their first deck, probably, maybe their second deck if they took a level 1 combo at you the previous turn. Like,
Yeah.
but it's a deal X instead of like a deal 1X times, which means that it's not like the craziest burn in the world, which is helpful. Anyway, this 2
Also, this early is past tense, so
yeah. Also, this
Don't
Something
worry
JB
about
mentioned is that you can do this at level 2. Also, what you could do is you could play it. This is as your level 2 thing you're doing on level 2, and then play a level 3 combo at level 3. That's not this card to kill them with that if you wanted to try to play it that way.
yeah, you could squeeze it in. There's
Yeah, I don't know how good the pants stuff is, but I generally
It's
like playing pants and 3 combo decks.
it's really fucking good if I'm being quite honest.
Also, this dude's hair is immaculate. That has to be said.
true Lion Man hours, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
If you ever run into
Cosplays
blank at
this
a
guy.
regional, go pull up this card and then take a selfie with them.
Yes, please.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we talked about that this is the general guy who shows up in the second game. What else needs to be said about him, if anything?
From what I remember, he was alive during the first game, but he was way too young and inexperienced to be put into war. But then the second game starts and another confrontation is active, and they're just like, well, he's probably ready. Let's put him out on the front lines and put him in charge of something. And he is a fucking idiot. Like, he's strong as shit, but he has no sense of tactics, and he just rushes headlong into anything. He gets straightened out pretty fucking fast, though, so he gets better for it, so, it's cool.
But
What I'm hearing he's basically every lion character ever except that one dude in Hunter x Hunter.
and the Arknight's Lion, because she's not really like this.
Mhm.
Well, I meant the male lions. We all know that the female lions are the tactical hunters of the
Yeah.
lion prides anyway.
That's
The
true.
males
So-
sleep 20 hours a day on average.
If you pop back up to Ranulph's combo real quick, the guy that's fucking swinging his sword at Ranulph, that's the guy that kicks the shit out of this guy, too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
They both get it.
Well, Ranulph was more trying to distract the dude. This guy tries to 1v1 him when they were otherwise tactically winning the fight, and then him trying to 1v1 the guy fucks them over royally.
Ah, classic.
And this dude gets a major ego check after that.
His pride was challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Good pun. Great pun. Alright. Next up, more Lagoos.
Is this me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I get to read a broken card. I like it.
Not as broken, but yeah.
It's pretty freaking good, my dude.
It is.
So this is what the heck is this guy called? All right, this guy is Dutiful Soldier Kaiser. Act. You can choose one of your other Lagoos characters, put this card underneath of it as a marker, and then while this card is a marker, that character gets the following 2 abilities. When it attacks, it gets 1,000 power and a soul ton of turn, and then when it attacks, you can remove the Kaiser from underneath as a marker to gain Twin Drive. So again, worst case, like floor for this card is it's a sack self to give another character twin drive, so it's free +1 stock. While it's a marker, it gets to pump soul, which can make things more modular for you. That's pretty nice, right? The peak for this card is like if you decide that you don't want to sack it to give the twin drive, this card can just incidentally be another clean card to have your Randolph send to stock. It's a card that can help your Screamer just do more damage if
Hold on,
you
real
know
quick.
if that's what you're on about.
Fix something because I could have sworn I updated this, but apparently I did not put it in. There you go.
Oh,
Spelling.
Whoa,
I
live
fixed the
edit.
name.
Oh,
Like
you
I
fixed the
made
name,
the
okay.
edit, but I guess it just didn't take when I updated earlier, and I didn't pay attention. My
Okay.
bad.
Yeah,
But
just
now his name is correct.
does this actually change anything about the card?
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Before it wasn't the same name as the effect, like the
Yeah.
the misspelling made it not
Okay.
work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I'm noticing that it's now on attack, give a soul in 1,000 instead of it being cross turn,
It was already
+1 soul
yeah.
in 1,000.
No, that's what it was before.
It was
Oh,
already.
okay.
Also, like this, I thought we talked about this last time. This card's not
Yep.
broken. This card sucks. This card
I think
is dead slots in your deck.
I mean, it's more compression for your Randolph if you decide to do that.
You can put it under the Randolph.
Yeah,
It
but
gets
that's
to
another
that.
piece you need on the turn.
I mean, it's
Correct.
it's not like another piece you need. It's like if you have it, you get a bonus, right? Like there's a difference between
Yeah, but the Randolph doesn't plus you hand.
Yeah.
So like you're going -1 hand to play this card down, and then yeah.
I think that's where
Like also if you play Stone, you go -1 hand. And then also if you marker this with Stone, you don't get the effects.
Correct.
yeah.
So like for me, this card's a waste of deck space.
I should
At
point
least
out,
in the Randolph deck anyway.
because I think we mentioned this the first time we did this, but I didn't get to mention it this time. There were a couple cards that I added in like last fucking minute. This is one of them. So this has 0 testing, but also, as Blank's been saying, why run this when you have stone and other things, other than early gameplays, I guess. But you know,
Yeah. I mean, if your other trigger in your lineup is a plussing trigger, because I mean, right now the only thing that we know about Lagoos is like 2 soul into shot into. I mean, maybe you throw in like the plants finisher or something at the very top end, but like assuming it is just 2 soul shot, the twin drive and whatnot isn't terribly useful. If your other trigger was like like a choice or something. Like, if you could make
the
it
only other climax on a Lagoos character, aside from the 2 that we've already done, is Door.
Okay.
And that's a level 3 combo that ties into like a different archetype altogether. But you can just solo play the Lagoos character for it if you wanted to.
Gotcha. Okay. So the answer is probably not. This guy arguably works better in a random other deck that you can just play Lagoos in.
Yeah.
Which is several of them because you have 2 very good double rare level zeros. That you can
When
just slide
we get
through.
to green, I think the first card on the list for green is probably the only thing you'd want to play him for.
Oh God, that's
Sorry,
right.
second card in green. But even then, that's just so you don't have to fix color for the stone.
God dang it.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair.
Why did you make this though?
It's just like this card by itself's a fucking vanilla. It's a
Right.
vanilla 1000.
Yeah.
And like these other abilities, they're cool. They're not the worst things ever, but it's like it's the opportunity cost of playing like any number of copies of this over,
Leanne or
or like a
fucking-
4th Ricky or a 4th
Yeah.
clean cut or oh, I would love another climax swapper if I want to try to do that 3 combo thing. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't think the value is there because this is essentially, hey, discard 1, trigger twice in a deck that already is building a fuck ton of stock.
Yep.
Or get 1,000 and a soul, which most things do with just a climax, and then I like if you wanted to build like Lagoo's standby. I don't know if that's a thing, especially because you only have one standby trigger. Like that's maybe where I could see this doing something, but I don't even know if Lagoo's synergize with the standby stuff
Not particularly, because that's a nut.
because you have to put this under a Lagoo's character.
Right. I mean, I guess there are red Lagoos that you could play in a standby thing. It's weird. There's an off
I
finisher
think
that works
I
with the
think
red
I'm going
Lagoos
like
that's decent, but nah, not really.
he's getting a D for dutiful.
Very good.
All right.
He is. Yeah, I mean,
Gadget has given him a C for cat.
both are fair.
I thought about giving him an F to be honest, but I will withhold judgment until I see the red Lagoos
yeah,
stuff, I
Honestly,
guess.
F would be fine because F is for fucking useless. In game, this character shows up important like twice, and you don't have to use him ever, and you're better off not using him because his stats are ass.
he's just taking experience from the characters who needed more, because those games are
So
not kind on experience.
it's more along the lines of in the first game, these shapeshifter Lagoos were really good because they just had generally high stats, and when they shift, they boost their stats while in that state.
Right.
In the second game, instead of getting that boost to stats, they have lower starting stats, but in their shifted stats, in their shifted forms, their physical stats double.
Ah.
So if you get their stats high enough, they're broken as shit. But his stats are fucking garbage for what he starts at.
Okay.
So he's just unusable the entire time. If you need him, you play him. But there's better options.
Yeah. Speaking of better options, let's talk about an entirely different archetype.
Blank gets to read this again.
Hooray.
God bless it. I gotta read the fat sack of shit.
He
All
has
How
been
dare you?
updated.
He is beautiful.
He's beautiful.
No, he's the defender of beauty, not himself.
Uh-huh.
What's more beautiful
Okay,
than
all right.
defending beauty?
Let's see. Oliver, defender of beauty. All your army card and finisher for the army deck get 1,000. And then climax combo is discard 1, and you choose one of the following effects. Choose 2 of the army card in your waiting room, or oh, okay, no, I see where that's going. You choose 2 of the army card and put them on your stage in any position from waiting room, and then you choose any of this 2-0 event that wasn't a 2-0 before, and you can put it underneath the disciple or the goddess as a marker,
Yeah,
That doesn't
as long
already
as it
have it.
doesn't have a marker already.
we already can see like 3 different balance changes. Just looking at this
Yeah,
list.
I'm like, holy shit, I don't even know what anything does anymore.
All right.
This was the major change.
RIP the first video where Blank went off pretty hard on this event. You guys were
Did
really
in fact go off on this.
you guys were spared some seriously insanely good content there. But yeah, this card's a lot more reasonable, I would say, but it's still pretty freaking good.
I mean, of all the decks, this is probably the most gimmick deck of this set.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're gonna talk about the disciples and we're gonna talk about the event. But just first impressions here, I'm a big fan of Oliver. I'm a big fan of this card. I like that it's a choice combo, but you're probably not playing it if you're not playing the disciples deck. So
Well, yeah.
we Do we want to read the disciples?
I want to talk about the cost thing on this first,
Mm-hmm.
because
Right.
before it was no discard and you summon 3.
Right.
And we were like, oh well, maybe you just summon 2, or maybe you have a discard, and then you did both. I actually
Yeah.
think you could bump this back up a little bit, like you do the discard and you get to summon all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But that's just my
No.
because like
we have
But
evidence.
this is hold on. This is when Clemex is placed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So this
Sure.
is still a back row combo. You still have to have you have to have 2 of these in your back row to get the full front row of disciples,
If you don't just play a disciple from hand.
which I think is good. It means that you
Yeah.
have to actually have 2 of this to get double activations and like
So
before you
just
could
to
just get them for free if you had 1 copy of this.
yeah. So just to clarify, the discard is to spawn the disciples. The other effect is still free.
Hmm.
Yes.
Huh.
So putting it as a marker is still fine, but the marker has been updated effect-wise, so we'll get to that when we get to it.
Okay.
Also, like the the summon effect is limited to 2, but then the marker effect is any, as long as they don't have a marker already.
Yeah.
And you
I
have to
don't
get it
think
from the
like
waiting room.
And
I don't think the math on this combo like works out for the summon part, because I think you get to summon 2 for free,
No,
but
you'd have to.
3 is like a dis.
No, you have to pay cost to summon, like, period. Like, the example that I would pull off of this is that the trial deck Karumi level 1 is clock yourself to summon
Clock yourself to
2,
summon 2.
which isn't like a
Yeah.
full discard. Like, it's closer to like a stock, but because it has this separate mode and it doesn't have any requirements on like a stage requirement or anything, the fact that it's a discard just kind of covers that, because like
What's the Bochi one? Does the Bochi one summon 3?
the Boshi summons 3 and it's not name locked, so it's just like any level
Yeah, it's
zeros.
like
Where this
K1 or
is
something.
summon named level 1s, which is like fairly on spec. It's why I had to put the equals down, because like my brain is hurting thinking about it again. But like this is at least even with the other stuff that exists that does something like this.
I think it's just still summon 3. I don't actually know if the math works on that, but now that we have a cost on it, I'm like so much more okay with summoning 3. Especially since the
Also,
army card looks like it lost 2 abilities since the last recording.
also, Oliver now gives only 1,000 rather than 15.
Yeah. These cards have been heavily respec'd in order to be on spec, and I think this is perfectly fine as it is. It does, like, guys, you don't understand.
It's
Playing
probably
against
fine,
this
but I'd
deck
be
was insane.
It basically just makes himself a replacement for what we're about to read for the army card, in lieu of having a full board of army.
Yeah.
All right. Are we moving on to the next one, or are we still?
Let's cover the army real fast, because it's
I guess I
very
gotta rate
easy.
it. I don't
Get the
like it that
simple
much
one, I
anymore.
guess.
I'm giving it a C.
Yeah, this is technically Volke's read, but we don't have to take anyone's turn on it. This is a 1/0 with a soul trigger that gets 1,000 power for each other copy of it on your stage, and it's technically not limitless army. It is up to 50. If they ever change the rules on deck size limits, this card can still only go up to 50. Don't worry about it. It used to be horrendously off spec because it had 2 other conditional effects that about like getting power from having the level 3 on board, and also being able to like rest itself to give power. This has all been fixed, and now it is just a very standard 1/0 army guy with soul trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So he is perfectly.
Why is it 50? Why isn't it just any? Is there a lore reason for this? Is it just weird?
Not really. I think this was definitely within like the first wave of cards that I made fucking God, 2-3 years ago. So I wasn't very savvy with effect texts, but 50 is fine.
Well, you're not gonna play
Maybe
more than that.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe like I don't know. I thought because the deck I used to play way back was Disgaea, and I think I used to think the Prinnies said 50, but I'm pretty sure I reread them later and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But you know,
Such is life.
it's whatever.
I mean, there are some cards that have like limits to them. It's not just you can play as many as you want. It's like you can play 8 or you can play 7.
Right.
Like there's a Dragon Maid event that has 8.
Yep.
There's a 7 Deadly Sins event that has 7. You know.
Yeah.
Haruhi Suzumiya has the fucking crazy
Endless 8,
shit. Yeah.
Which has been mentioned before on this channel, again in the Yumi Neko video.
Decent.
He's an
beat stick
army guy.
Volke.
He's 7/5 cross turn. If you have the Olivers, they get 1,000. So like the Olivers effectively replace a copy of this in your backstage. There's also another card that can summon a bunch of these that has not been changed. That's pretty cool. And this card has a soul trigger. So if you're playing choice, you can use choice to get this, and and you just can stick a bunch of soul triggers in your deck for no reason because it's cool. I'm giving this a D
Just drop
for
for no reason.
Disciple.
I mean, this is just the orc from Slime. Like they had 2 army cards to work with, but this is the 1/0 version of it. Basically. Like with the soul trigger and everything.
Yeah. I think the Dragon Maid has one of these as well, but it might be a different power condition and starting.
I think you're right. I actually opened Dragon Maid earlier for a different reason to check on card text. Let me double check.
It's like Molting Toru or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a fucking clone. She's still cloning herself almost.
Oh yeah.
I can't find it.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's the
It's
orc,
green.
Right here.
the orc general in TSK. Okay.
The condition is a little different, so this actually sits slightly bigger. Because
Disciples sit
this
bigger
card
or
gets
Toru?
2k for every other. Disciples sit bigger.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you have a full board of them, Disciples sits bigger because this only checks for other versions of this in the front row. So it's a 3k with a soul trigger, and then it's 2k for every other.
So it gets to
So
7 max. Well,
it
7
hits
on
with 7 max without with its own abilities. Yeah.
Right. This gets to 7/5.
Provided you play a whole board. With
Yeah,
Yeah. Or board plus Olivers.
It is technically weaker than the orc generals in Slime.
Oh, what did that one do? Oh yeah, that one hits on the 0 army card too.
It hits on copies of itself or the 0, and also can't side attack. So it sits at like 3k base, but since it gets 1,500 per, it gets up to like you only need like 3 copies on board to get to like 7/5, and technically it can go up to 9k. So hypothetically, you could make it that and also be fine, but having the option of the side attack is also perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Not
lore, I
with
guess.
the guy that I play who plays the orc deck. He never side attack. He never will.
So lore on these guys, basically towards the end of the game, because the goddess in that secondary picture is like the final boss of the game. Leading up to that end game chapter, these guys are just typical soldiers from the main enemy country that have her blessing on them. It's like a relatively weak one, so she's going numbers over quantity over quality.
Yeah.
And to the point where they die and she just brings their bodies back and makes them fight soulless, basically. Just over and over again. Oh, and also, just another lore thing for Oliver with this card. Fucking, they just teleport onto the battlefield. at this point in the game. Like, there's even storyline basis shit where everybody's just like, you're sure they're coming? Like, I can't smell them anywhere, and then they just there.
Huh.
So that's the spawner effect lore as well.
Well, Oliver is one of my favorite characters. I didn't mention it earlier. He's like the best healer in the game, I think. Well, one of them. And he's like, in the level you get him, he's really into like the herons and like beautiful things, etc., etc.
Yeah, you can see them in the background of his art. You can see Leon.
Yeah. So like I don't know. He's all, oh, my beauties, my pretties. Like, he's kind of cringe, but like, I don't know. He's got good
See why
stats.
Never mind.
He's like,
Yeah,
man,
let's
he's kind of cringe, but I gotta play him in my deck. Or what?
Yeah.
That's me justifying like characters I don't like and putting them in my Weiss decks. It's like, man, I hate this guy, but also it's a good card. I have to.
I have to.
Yep.
Then we have.
Shall we talk about this
Aura.
event?
Oh boy.
Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
It's been relatively fixed.
All right.
Yeah, you put a big restriction on this one for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
holy
It's also
shit.
more lore accurate now, so I'll start off just saying what this used to be. This used to be a 1-0 that was costless all around and didn't have the name restriction that I'm about to read. But here we go anyway. This card's auto effect cannot be activated if you do not have Ashura on board. Its first effect is reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a character or another one of this, you can add it to your hand, and then this card goes underneath one of your order traded characters as a marker. Order or Order Incarnate, so the Disciples or Ashura are the only cards that this can be markered under. Auto, send this card to the waiting room while it is a marker. If after the character that it was under battled, you pay the cost and then deal damage to your opponent equal to the current soul of the character facing this card divided by 2, and it is rounded up. So in the case of 1, it becomes 1. If it's 2, it's still 1. If it's 3, it's 2. And it should only be defensive. Yeah, it should only be defensive. And I may have forgotten to change that, but honestly, with the restrictions put on it, might not even need it anymore. I'll leave that to y'all.
Yeah, so we still have at least some of the implication that made it kind of crazy, which is that the Oliver can still attach copies of this at level 1, but obviously, like, no, never mind. This doesn't do anything with the Goddess, and you kind of don't want to be going Oliver while you have Goddess on board necessarily. So
You can.
Yeah, but even so, that definitely does, like, change it a lot. This used to be like just like early game burn, just throw it on your 1-0 guys. They're big enough to live, and then you get like, just trigger this whenever you want to, really. Now, this is like
nerfed
severely. Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot how like defensive burn is like, it's pretty good when you can like define your strat around it, and this deck definitely used to do that. Now it is a lot more up in the air.
The defensive burn I always think of as Meliodas, because that's the one I was like, the one I first saw and was like, oh, that's interesting. Defensive burn at level 3 is like not that good, actually, in my opinion, because it still gives your opponent a chance to like do stuff and kill you.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it was activating at level 1 and just like regular turned, and you just looped it every time. So it like destroyed the to use a D&D term, the action economy of Weiss.
Yeah.
To repeat what I said the first time we did this.
Yeah.
Is there a way to early play the Goddess?
Other than standby, no. But when we get to Ashura eventually, you'll see why. Effectively, this can be activated at level 2.
Okay.
That's what I'll say for now. Looking back at the level 1 version, if you could loop this consistently, I would say definitely yeah. in all the testing, I only ever got to do this like maybe one Oliver combo got these matched or markered, and then once they were gone, they were gone. If I even got 3 copies in waiting room by the time I got to that. I didn't probably optimize it as well as I should have, but
You know, in that army deck, the Ricky is like pretty good in that. If
Yeah.
you aren't running like a brainstorm or whatever,
Mhm.
or you just haven't found it yet, because I know that's hard for army deck sometimes. Because you need
Yeah.
zeros in that army deck, because there's no
Correct.
like level 0 army card.
Because I think,
And then the 500 power, if it just happened to live, it just makes the disciples bigger.
I mean, I guess the question is, how many of the army would you actually run in a deck like this?
I mean, it's going to depend on what the rest of the set has, but I'm thinking like we definitely need a climax swapper, Ricky. Like probably you need a brainstorm still.
Probably.
There is
Actually,
one in
does
each
this set have a
color.
tap
So.
2 brainstorm? Is there a tap 2 brainstorm in this set?
No.
Damn.
That'd be like pretty sick to like rest your two fat boys in the back row, and then like you play over it with another army card or whatever when you do the
Actually, when we
combo.
get to green, I might change one. There's a level 2 brainstormer that the cost is a little ambiguous at the moment, so maybe that'll be a tap 2 instead of what it currently is. We'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah.
All right.
The lore for this, the final boss, you're literally just in a room with Ashura, and she just has a force field around her. And in order to get to her, you have to beat through the force field physically. But the force field has the ability that any damage you deal to it, it deals back half automatically, but it doesn't fight otherwise. Average HP in a Fire Emblem game is somewhere between like 40 and 50. You might get to 60 if it's a tanky character. Each force field has like 90 HP,
Oh. Yeah.
so it's hefty as shit. And you're going to be swinging for like 30, which is dealing 15 back. Or God forbid you're swinging like 40 damage and you're taking a third of your HP for the tankers. But yeah, that's the whole half damage back thing. And in the game, it does round up.
Yeah, we had so much bullshit on this card, and now it's just like, oh yeah, it's safe.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Wild. All right.
I mean, so if it was only able to activate at level 3, I think you could like easily make this offensive as well.
I will say to get it to activate it too, there's a little bit of a runaround that's mildly difficult. It's not difficult depending on the deck you're running. But if you're running that strategy, space in a deck of 50 cards is a problem. I'll say it takes a lot of stock.
In the meantime,
JB, that's yours.
yeah,
And it's super simple, so.
Lucia, retainer of Crimea. During your turn, when this card's battle opponent comes reverse, you may pay 1. If you do, choose a Talis character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. I'm pretty sure I said this was like fine budget-wise last time. It's like it's absolutely pack filler.
I don't know. It would be better.
I'm pretty sure I lost my mind on this card last time because I was like, this thing doesn't even swing for anything relevant.
Yeah,
it hasn't. There's.
Yeah, you wanted like a power.
Like yes, the salvage is the salvage is like not level locked like these usually are. I think we talked about the My promo or whatever last time. What are you putting this in? What is this here for? This doesn't do anything.
Extra of Crimea.
It's a soul trigger to shove into your stock.
Yeah, you can
pretty much
stock it in choice. It's Crimea, so you can put a marker under it, make it A5 so that your other Lucia gets her benefit. So you got like stock hand out of it in a turn, because like getting the 1 or higher check would be stock that would pay for this effect. But yeah, like you still want it to have like a power condition if you care about this card's existence.
If I was playing the Lion King, right, and I just wanted another soul trigger in my deck, and I had 49 cards, and I'm just like, I don't know what to put in here. I would play 1 copy of that fucking army card over this card.
1 copy of the
It will never be bigger than 3/5. but this does nothing. Like, at least the other one is a costless attacker.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
I have to pay 2 fucking stock for this to do anything.
Well, I mean, you get
Well,
the
I mean, to be fair, stock in this set is not hard to come by.
yeah, and I mean
I don't care.
you get the
I
attack.
don't care.
It's technically not like payout, right? Because it's on reverse, right? So technically, it just means that you're not getting stock gain from attacking. You can pay out climaxes with her.
Are you actualing me? Are you actualing me right
Yeah,
now?
actually, she pays out climaxes.
You can't even like summon this with the Laguz stone to like do this at level 1 when you do your
Yeah, that would.
your 2-1 generate a million stock combo.
That'd be
Like-
good. Yeah. Yeah, good thing the Laguz stone specifies Laguz. Can you imagine if it was just like fucking in another set
Maybe
where it's
Telius.
yeah, like if it in another set with that
Just universal trait.
yeah, it's like God, don't do that. No one take a
No.
Laguz stone and make it universal unless you're very, very specific about the cards you put in your set, which is like having to balance around standby, but like 5 times as bad. Oh man, but yeah,
It's a retainer. It at least can get you. I mean, something with the event, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Pack filler.
yeah, and we're already
Is it ever? Jeez. And then you look at the next card and you're like, how are these the same rarity?
Oh yeah, this man's.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what rarity? You already put the word in your pot.
This is the Royal Guard of Crimea, Jeffrey, or Joffrey, whatever you want to pronounce it. If he's in your center stage, all of your Teleus characters get 1,000 power and hexproof. Woohoo! Can't be chosen. And then when he's placed on the stage from hand, you can choose one of your level 3 characters, place it on. Oh, this hasn't been changed, has it? Should be level 3 or lower, right?
It should be technically it should be your level or lower.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you talked about this in the other video.
yeah, that's fine.
Oh well.
Okay.
That's alright.
Well,
It's whatever.
Basically, it's a summoner.
Yep.
So like you're gonna want to like summon something off of this. I don't know what. There's a couple things you could go for in this. You could go for like let's see level 3, but I mean yeah, this card is like really good. You want to talk about Jack Skellington there, Blank?
So this card's almost Jack Skellington. Jack gives it hexproof and 1,000 to himself if he's in the center stage, along with your other characters. And he spawns out at level 2 because that stupid freaking Mickey Mouse shit that I have to play into every other week now. He just bought 2 of the super high rarity climaxes. He's gonna max the deck. Guy's a savage. Jack is like a very stupid card, and it's like even you just play this in a standby, right? Like,
Right.
because this card, the way it's worded, I think the Jack has to be in the front row, and that's why it gives it to himself.
Yeah.
Also, but this one can just like be in the backstage.
Nope.
No.
Oh no,
Read it
this
again.
does center stage. Okay,
Which is
never mind.
one of the reasons is off budget.
Look,
I
I mean, well,
I do think originally this was word for word Jack. I don't know why I changed it. So it should read
maybe
all
because
of your.
Jack giving hexproof
Oh,
to himself
wait,
is
no.
stupid.
No, we talked about this last time. It's because the level 3 effect is the second one, and so the first one is the one that costs the power.
Right.
And then
Okay.
because it gives the 2k cross turn instead of like the normal one, it is on spec. That's why.
Okay.
We did hash this out.
I mean, yes, but also Jack is stupid. Why does he give it to himself? This has an answer. That Jack doesn't have an answer.
Yeah,
You
because
can't
of-
anti-change that motherfucker.
because of the way that that's set up, like the Jack is using it as like his level 3 effect. I'm pretty sure. Or he's
I mean, you could
Oh
Adachi
no,
Jack.
I'm not saying that you're. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just complaining about Jack.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's one of those things. Like, how much does that? I guess it matters quite a bit for Mirrorverse because then there are a whole bullshit like the early, like the Mickey cheating out stuff. So like, what you cheat out the Jack, but then you go another turn, you can cheat out something else, and like if you could just get rid of them because they weren't hexproof, that would be fine. But because you go Jack first or whatever.
Yeah, you go Jack in a thing where you actually expect them to have anti-change counter and like the resources to play anti-change counter.
Yeah,
Um,
because you don't have to.
Also, because the Mickey grabs his own climax, what happens a lot of the time is that he puts down two Mickeys and just grabs two choices immediately, so he has the guaranteed 2 turns of it.
Oh god.
And then it's like, oh, but the character summon gets -1 soul, and it's like, well, the choice is giving a soul to make up for that. And then
Yeah.
there's a Hercules that you summon and has 3 soul base, and has Musashi that works if you summon it with the Mickey still. I don't even think he was playing that in his list yet because he copied some other list. But I saw that Mickey deck profile on I don't even remember what channel. It was probably Carmen's.
Yep.
Um,
PJ has one.
but I got like actively upset at the fucking Mirrorverse getting all this like cool shit that I want to play with, but Lord knows I don't want to play a goddamn Mickey Mouse to my stage ever in the
Yeah.
history of time and space.
And also the game's
You will
like
never see that.
the game's already dead. The fucking game that they made the set
And the
for
game,
also died.
yeah, and it's gonna be like the most relevant Disney deck.
Oh god.
I don't actually know if that's true or not, but it looks dumb.
I mean, what you can play it like in a pile with some of the cards. I think.
As we've discussed
Yeah,
on the
like
show
there's an
previously.
entire
Yeah, because you put the Dalmatians in. Yeah, so it is
Yeah, you can also
legal
play a
essentially.
48 Soul Trigger deck, or like 46 Soul Triggers.
Yeah, so you're allowed to do
you
stupid ass bullshit.
in somebody's Discord server, there was a Venn diagram of how all the Disney stuff overlaps, and they made it look like Mickey Mouse ears. It was very funny.
Yeah, I have seen that trick.
I think this card is good, but I don't think like the effects synergize like that well. If that makes sense. Like this is a great thing on a finisher turn if you only have 2 copies of the finisher. So I don't think you'd ever like play more than a few copies of this. And then in standby, the second effect's like flavor text. It feels like because you're gonna stand by this out at level 2, so you can't get your shit anti-changed.
There is another deck that this can work with. We'll get to it if we get to green tonight.
Tonight.
Oh yeah, I guess if you have
Is
like
nitrate.
single lane finishers.
hmm
Oh yeah, that's
But yeah, he's an of Crimea character, but he's generic that you can just run him in pretty much anything if you wanted to, as long as you fix your yellow.
So there's no other way to get this out other than standby, right? Get this out early, I should say.
Fairly certain, yeah. Maybe I
Okay, because
forgot.
that's interesting. Like you do the. Oh, for one thing, if you can summon this from hand without early, you can summon another level 3, which is actually an advantage over the normal way these are worded. But the other thing is, if you can stand by this out and you're playing like the Yoburn Lion King stuff, it does have of Crimea actually.
Yep.
So I'll bump it up to the plus.
Mhm.
Actually, I like this card.
As final regards, or I guess Gadget, if you want to do your letter grade before I go into lore.
I think this card's crazy. So many custom sets that we reviewed here have put a tap counter in it. This set also has a tap counter, which we'll get to in green. So like having this is very good. You can also choose to stand by this in if you want it early. Obviously, you'd have to like put it in the front row, and that means you could potentially like lose a lane doing that, which is a downside. But like it depends on how badly you want your hexproof. Sometimes that matters a lot. But yeah, no, card's great, and it's a summoner. Like, this is a summoner. There are some set like the reason Ari Ferretta even has a win con is because its finisher is a summoner. Like this, getting into free play, one of your finishers can be really good. And then obviously global hexproof means like you can just make your finisher immune to bullshit. So there's a lot of good reasons why you play this card, and it also just happens to be a Crimea card, which means it works at the event. Cool.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot. It's also a knight. Knight is another archetype that matters for this deck, which we'll get to in green again. But like this card being a knight is actually crazy. I don't know how many other yellow knights there are, but like this card is a really good knight to put in the knight deck.
At least one.
Well,
Again, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Is actually maybe a little hard to fix for, maybe, but
Nah.
I mean, if
not
you stuck to
terrible.
night trait only, like yeah, if you just use generics, you just pay with zeros and that's fine.
Lore-wise, he's the leader of the Royal Guard and leader of the Knights of that country. So protection effect makes sense for lore. And since he's the leader, calls for reinforcement if he needs it.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Is he like your early game training wheels character where it's like, oh yeah,
No.
no?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Good.
He is the latest late game fucking knight that you get.
Gotcha, okay. So
He
the
has-
exact opposite.
He has a skill called Paragon that doubles the amount of EXP that he earns. So even though you get him at tier 2, you can very easily get him to level 3 with class bonus experience and then class change him pretty quickly.
Okay.
Um,
So like the exact opposite of like Silas from Stones.
Yeah.
Cool.
you mean Fates?
No, I'm thinking of a different guy then. Not Silas, but some other Seth. Seth, I think his name is.
Yes.
Seth from Sacred Stones.
Yeah.
I personally do not like this character, just for my own reasons. Is he a decent character? Technically, because he comes with a Brave Lance.
Mm.
Brave Lances are basically just double your attack opportunities. So instead of attacking once, you attack twice.
Oh no.
Which means if he's fast enough, he'll attack 4 times.
First time I played through this game with my brother, we ended up using Joffrey in our final round because he was the best Silver Knight that we had. So yeah, I like him. He good.
He's a decent character in game. It's just the story elements that I don't like. Anyway, moving on. Do we just want to shotgun the next few cards because they're all relatively simple?
Yeah. So, Lucia, the Intelligence of Crimea. She is a 2K that at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, reveal a top card of your deck. If it's a level 1 or higher, return it to your hand. Wait a minute, so it's the same profile as the blue one, except in yellow?
The blue one's on
Except
reverse.
the blue one's on reverse.
Oh dear
But still.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. These exist places you would rather not, but sometimes you do. Some sets are cursed like that. This is not one of them.
Fucking
It's a
JoJo's
+0
Part
you
5
might-
flashbacks.
It's a +0 you might play if you're playing the Crimea deck, but yeah.
You'd have to be so fucking hard up on it, and you don't play the clean cut.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on.
Yeah. Next one. This is a girl. This is actually fairly relevant in the grand scheme of things. This is the Liar. She's another Laguz. Laguz straight is good. She gets 1 soul in the middle position, and also at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, there's a character there in front of her. You can slide her over. So she's like a turn 1, swing 3, and then she can just like GTFO.
Run away.
Yeah, she's small runners. People have opinions on how like big a runner needs to be. Like it, yeah,
Be relevant.
Yeah, and like yeah, the combination of like a positional effect and then a leave that position to do something else is cute at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that this gets a soul in the middle. It can run away, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
run away. So that's actually really good. It's better than just a free runner. It's better than just a mill runner. You can decide to optionally do more things with it, which I think is cool.
I mean,
Quick
the only
lore.
reason it's better than a free runner is because
So it's
It-
bigger.
it sits bigger. It gets cost less to run away.
Quick lore. She's Laffy's younger sister.
Yeah, we
In game, she's about as worthwhile as Kaiser. So.
she's done well for herself here.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Next man.
Art actually matters. All right, this is Senator LeCain. Volk did mention it in the other video, but this is
Well,
all
I
the
didn't
senators.
update that picture of the disciples, but you know what they do.
Yeah,
So
no,
fine.
all of the senators of Benyon are like Benyon is like a theocracy, and so all the senators are like priests for the Church of Order or whatever. So there's this guy, there's Oliver, and there's another guy, which I don't know if you made a card for.
No.
But anyway, it's a 1/0. It has 3K. It gives all your disciples 500 power. You know, wherever they are, if they're on stage in your hand in your deck, they all gain 500 power. And then he can pay 3, sack himself to search your deck for 4 disciples of order and summon them. So if you don't have an army, like Volk was talking about earlier, poof, you just get an army. It's cool that you can pull 4 clean cards out of your deck if you're playing the Disciples deck. I think that's a good implication. I think you'd probably play 1 or 2 of this card if you're playing Disciples, but if you're not doing that, you're not playing this card.
Right.
Yeah, he's a little. He should be giving all of 1K instead of 500.
Yeah.
But, like, other than that.
Man,
He's probably not going to be on board. So
are you ever? I was about to say, are you ever even fielding this for the other effect?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
If you don't have the
Like,
stock,
I'm
it's a
surprised he doesn't
character.
have a soul trigger
like, honestly.
for just like shits and giggles.
Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, to fully optimize the card, you just drop the continuous, you give him, like, a soul trigger, or you put, like, a fucking, like, choice trigger in there instead, and then you just let him have the act, and that'd be it.
It's an option.
Yeah, you could print the first, like, Weiss character that isn't in a meme set to have a climax trigger and its trigger icon.
Mhm.
It'd be fun.
This card existed before Oliver.
Yeah.
So your options were run army and this guy, and then you'd probably be running the Ranulph combo if you were trying to go yellow blue.
Yeah,
But-
that would help with the stock that you need, because you do need stock.
I mean, let's not get it twisted. You're getting 4 fucking dudes for 3 stock and sacking this guy. Like, that's really efficient. It's just you only get 1 specific dude.
And I mean,
or 4 of this specific dude.
And I mean, it is still pretty ass as far as like a global efficiency's sake, because that means you're just paying it back on attack. You go stock neutral. Like, you.
I mean, you get a back
stock
row,
to
I
pay.
guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you need.
Yeah,
stock to pay
you
off.
keep your Oliver on board.
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah, but even no.
Because you can summon them with this, and then Oliver just markers them all instead.
I mean, it's so. I think we talked about this. The finisher is like a 1 lane
Yes.
like finish.
You can only
card,
have one
right?
of it on board at a time.
And I don't know how much like the combo stuff like costs for that card, but
Ass ton.
if you don't need stock, is this like I
You
need
need
a
a
metric
stock.
fuck ton of stock?
You need
Yes.
you need a lot of
You need
stock,
a lot of stock?
and then you
Okay.
also need like you can use this guy to like set up like single card set up of the board, like the condition you end up needing on top of the stock. But you could also just play differently and not run this guy to do the same thing. Like, I guess if you do this with Ranulph, right? If you have like you early game, you Ranulph once, maybe twice. If you can get 2 Ranulphs in a game, you're basically fucking set, and it's all good. It's just, you gotta squeeze them in there, which is a little bit of an issue. But like, if you don't do that, the stock question becomes like quite a bit more significant. So the fact that this guy is straight up pay 3, if it was like pay 2 and then had some other like stock replacement equivalent per cost, like an accelerate or something, it would go a lot harder. As it is, it's just like you could, maybe you don't, because you can do something else.
But like, what I'm saying is like it's pay 3 plus 4 or plus 3 basically, because you do have to sack this guy.
And they go straight to stage.
And they do go straight to stage, but like you're not going to do this effect unless you get the true value out of it, unless you're really suffering. So it's like, I mean, this is because there's that Data Lab card that's like pay 3, discard 1, rest this, search 2 characters. And that's searching 2, and you still had to pay 3 and discard a card.
Yeesh.
So it's like, I think this is really efficient for this deck. It's just the
You're only
opportunity
running-
cost of you're only running it in this deck, and B, the finisher takes a lot of stock, so you have to be careful about when you actually do this.
Right.
I changed my grade to a C- because I forgot the finishers trying to play a bunch of stock. If you're not playing the Ashura finisher with the Disciples, this
What
card
do you
becomes slightly more playable. But you're right. If you're actually playing to the Ashura finisher, then yeah, you need this. You don't need this card. You basically can't play it.
Are you living in a universe where you play Disciples as an army deck without running the Ashura top end?
I'm not saying you should do that, just that you can do that.
Like,
Soul Rush Vanilla Beatdown, let's go.
like the deck exists, but like, God help you. All right, we're done here.
Lion King with
I was about to
army
say, like,
cards.
So yeah,
Oh no, I was thinking you play the shot combo.
Mm.
Because he can summon out 3
Oh, yeah, Soul
copies
Rush.
for
the
3
other
stock.
lion. Instead of Lion King, it's
other
Lion
lion.
General.
Mhm.
All right, so this is another. I feel like we can just kind of gloss over the text on these, but maybe talk about the implications. So we have the 1/0/5/5K with a soul trigger and can't side attack, and then we have the 3/5 that gets 2K and a soul if you have a copy of him on your board, and also gives them another 2K 1 soul, so it's a 7K 2 soul swing, and she is on to play pitch card that still needs to be like traded character for it to be
Yeah.
spec to grab the guy from hand. Basically, this is cats at level 1 with the quote unquote vanilla that gets searched a bit buffed up.
I mean, he's pretty buff.
So like level 1 9K 3 soul swings, that's on the table. But then like she herself is only swinging at like 5/5 2 soul, so like she can like side against the level 1 and still be fine. But like, level 1 cats is not why people play cats. You play it because level 0 cats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, these characters are yellow and they live in Crimea, but they're not like their trait isn't of Crimea. So like you have to actually be in yellow to play these. Unfortunately, I think that's gonna make it really bad for me. I don't even remember if I rated these guys that badly last time we did this, but it's just that going back and reacting to this now, it's just like, why would you ever waste your time with these?
they've gotten worse. that's where I came down with the senator guy, right? Like I was not
More
nearly
soul
as hard
triggers for
on
the
him.
army deck.
But you can play Infinite the Army guy.
Yeah, I know.
You could, so in theory, like I think we went over this last time. In theory, you could play the Randolph and then like these be your other lanes.
Yeah, that was
But
the
it's like
consideration.
not worth it. I don't think.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like
the power is like cross turn for the big guy. Like the 5/5 is nothing to really go right home about. But I mean, like 7K cross turn is like half respectable, I guess.
And if you get
9K if you've got 2.
Yeah, you play like 1 front row, run back row. You have 2 lanes at 9K, or you have 2 of the Khalil in back, and then you have 3 of him up front, and they're all 3 9Ks. That's a possibility. You could.
I
be
mean,
a
it's
better
just like we're talking about. Like, there's Soul Rush, and then there's like Mix Soul Rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this would be like if you're in a meta where Kishibe like was like a god option, right? Like if people not only like had to live in fear of it, but like also like this just like comes up like takes Kishibe's lunch money and then just does the same thing he does, except you can also play events
I mean,
and
even
backups.
then, it's not. You could play a backup over Kishibe swinging like back into you, but you're just side attacking around that Kishibe still, because you still don't get 10K.
Yeah. Wait.
You'd need 3 of the Khalil on board.
I'm misremembering Kishibe's power line. That's on me. We're good. What? How the?
I guess the one benefit over level 0 cats is that these are level 1, and therefore can't as easily be sided into. Not much, but
It's fine.
On the flip side, like it does mean you have to so Cats plays their like Choo-Choo/Rico/ it's Baltimore. Baltimore's the
yeah,
card,
Mhm.
and you will always be able to get a cat because
right.
I've played the bar door restand mocha thing,
hmm
and I have nothing else to do this turn. I'm gonna play a Baltimore discard. Oh, it's a level 0. Grab a cat. Search a cat. I have my 3 attacks for the turn. Taiho combo. Repeat, rinse and repeat forever and ever. So it's like being a 0 helps that deck loop this kind of thing more, if that makes sense. So I think there's pros and cons to them being level 1s versus level 0s.
Yeah. As far as lore goes, like Gadget said, they do live in Crimea by the end of the first game. They are effectively mercenaries, and you hire them separately, but they know each other and they get together at the end of the first game. Hence why Gadget put F for family.
I
But
did.
Largo is not in the second game, or he's not playable in the second game,
Huh. That's a
which is
choice.
kind of stupid, but because he's the only berserker in both games that you get.
What?
Yeah,
What the
they
fuck?
just don't give you a berserker in the second game.
Why?
There are fighters, but they're technically reavers, not berserkers.
And there's
Okay.
only 2 fighters.
Yes.
Man, axe wielders don't get love in these games.
Man, intelligent. What the fuck?
It's crazy. Kieran is actually a terrible character, but you actually play him in part 2 and part 3 because he's an axe wielder, and he's like the only one in part 2.
I
Speaking
remember
of Kieran,
this. Yeah. It's
Oh,
not
look,
good.
it's Kieran.
Yeah. Another pair we can just kind of
Spoilers, he's terrible here too.
another pair we can just kind of gloss through. So 2/6K, 1,000 for each of your other characters, and if his buddy Oscar is on stage next to him, this gets +2 someone +500 power. Beside in this case is like one of them is in center stage and the other one is in a stage position touching. So you put them on left or right side. Doesn't matter exactly
yep,
where, as long as they're next to each other. And then the
yes,
Oscar is if Kieran is beside him, he gets 2K. So swings a 9K. Is on attack, top check to put him back however you want. So one of them is a 10/5 3 soul swing, and the other one is a 9K top check rearrange guy.
lore, I guess. Kieran has the ability gamble in game inherently, which doubles his crit but halves his on hit or halves his hit. So extra soul, bigger damage potential, but less likely to land. Oscar is just more careful. And also Oscar can doctor the check for Kieran so he doesn't overswing.
Every Fire Emblem game has this kind of like pair of cavaliers that are one's red, one's green. This is this game's version of that. Weirdly, they're from different nations.
No, they're both from Crimea,
Yeah, but
technically.
like Oscar's like part of Grail's group and Kieran's part of Valencia's group. It's kind of weird, but
Just a
they're
side
they're
note, they are
neat.
both knights.
Yeah, so you might end up
Okay.
needing to play these in the night deck, but they're
This is
not very
also the
good.
yellow fix in the knight deck for Joffrey.
Just play more Joffrey. I'm sorry, I'm not playing this. Okay, I didn't realize this last time, but I should have and griped about it. You said that they're red and green knights, and these cards are blue and yellow. What the fuck are you doing? Why? Why would do that?
He. Funny. Also, because the archetypes they belong to are yellow and blue. But yeah.
Make an exception. I don't know what to
No,
tell you.
no. What you do is you give them along with the beside each other benefits, or just as a flat fucking continuous period. Just give them their respective armor color on stage. Just
Yeah,
just
sure,
extra text
whatever.
to make the flavor fit. It'd be fine. It's been done before.
Just like, please, my OCD is gonna
Red.
kill me.
It incorporates all 4 colors. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, holistic. God. All right, we're good.
Knight.
Our last. What? Maybe they do matter.
No, we got 3 more.
This is a terrible. I mean, I was gonna say like a last major event, but I guess maybe the other two are somewhat eventful too. This card though. This card's a mood. God.
Who's reading this one?
I think we had Gadget read the last relevant one, so Blank can go ahead and read this one.
Okay. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you can heal. And when this card is placed on stage from hand, put all your other characters underneath this as markers. Okay. When this card's damage is canceled, you may remove any number of markers from this card and deal X damage, where X is the markers removed.
Oh, I love this card still. Oh, this card's still so funny.
You'll be happy to know that this is now a rare.
Yeah, it used to be a common, which is why it's so late in the slideshow.
Just put it in. Put down in the comments, though. Okay, sure.
Yeah, you know, this used to be like you could get like 4 of this for like $2.50. Now you pay like $5, and it's still the same playability. I love this stupid card. It's so good. Just like it's you just play it. It's an off like a weird ass off finisher lane, right? But like you have like just your back row left from like a swing. You put her up front. You have like 2 mercs under this. You swing with her. Her attack gets canceled. You remove 1, ping 1. That gets canceled. You remove 1, ping 1. Or you could, if you know that your opponent's not going to be able to cancel the
Oh yeah,
marker
it's
damage.
not once per turn.
Yeah, so like it chains into itself technically infinitely as long as you have markers. So you could have like 4 markers in a list and just go boom, 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 boom until eventually something sticks. Which, as I've proven with another very stupid card that was made entirely to be broken, that kind of thing is pretty good. It's just that this is mitigated by it being kind of a like Musashi replacement, and also you need to be paying the equivalent of discard 4 to get 4 markers under her. This card is still like I think strictly better than the ASCII from No Patience in a lot of ways.
Is it more balanced or stronger?
I think it's more playable just by itself. It's definitely more universal. But
guys, I found a use for that stupid Kaiser. We're gonna get cancel burn 1 8 times. As long as they keep canceling, that 1 is gonna stick through eventually.
This is
No, Laguz only goes under Laguz.
Correct.
Oh yeah, she's a goddess.
Laguz, it's a goddess.
Curses foiled again.
No, okay. Okay, fine.
Disappointed.
Much more.
Wouldn't it be kind of?
I mean, it's probably
though?
for the best. Like, like this being like cancel burn 2. If the burn 2 is also canceled, is like pretty sick. Or if you just want to do like instances of 1. If you just need 1 damage to stick, this card's incredible.
Just die.
I mean, yeah.
And then they somehow cancel all 5 instances, and they just are like flipping you off, like I'm the best, I'm him, I'm the god gamer.
Oh, wait, so you're saying 5 of your climaxes are in your waiting room right now? Cool. Let me swing with my other 2 lanes.
And then, well, that's what I'm saying. They have 8 cancels. They have 8 cancels in a deck. They're living.
And then,
if they cancel all of those ping ones, they're canceling your other 2 lanes. Your other 2 lanes have no chance.
I mean, that's what the AI tried on me earlier today, and I just said, no, fuck you, 1 more turn. You can't kill me. And then I
lived an incredible turn at locals the other day.
I think... Go ahead.
I got double Cocochino'd, and I lived on 3-5.
How,
like I was at 3-2, I think, or 3-3.
Yeah, that's relevant information.
And then
sure.
I got Cocochino twice and took refresh, and I lived on 3-5.
Holy shit! You took 1 damage out of that whole fucking thing.
The rest of that game went so terribly for me. I was like, deserved. I deserved that one.
But
But
did
I
you win?
like mathematically, yes, because he lived my finisher turn the previous turn because I'm playing a bad deck.
Oh god.
But you know,
Hmm.
I was playing New Jersey, so it was Azure Lane, New Jersey. It's like, burn twos, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And he canceled everything, and I was like, okay, well, I'm dead. And then I canceled all those fucking ping ones, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
I will say, just as a fun fact, this
Yeah,
card used to have a mildly different effect.
Oh.
It still did the whole suck up all the markers thing, but its additional effect was that it gained all of the traits of the markers under it.
Oh, so that
And
you
its
could
other
have.
effect, it didn't have the cancel burn, but it did have the effect to just respawn one of its markers.
Oh. Oh, that's interesting.
like on cancel or just in general?
Just
Just
act.
play it.
Okay,
Huh.
that's probably for the best, because if it was on cancel, you could have like a
Extra
chain or
attacks, yeah.
something.
Wait, no, that'd be the
Yeah, you get
sickest
extra
cancel
attacks.
bird variant. Can you imagine just, oh, okay, I'm gonna play this marker.
On marker.
Yeah. Dude,
Hmm.
that
Spawn a new guy. The new guy has like an off
Musashi.
finisher ability too.
Yeah.
It's like, so you get the fourth attack and then also his cancel burn or whatever.
Technically, the way that was broken, we'll get to it in green, but I guess I'll go over the lore too. This goddess splits into two at some point due to emotional trauma. One half is
Oh
Ashura, the
boy.
goddess of order, and the other half is Yune, the goddess of chaos. Yune is an off finisher that has the on place by effect heal that the Marine in the Gen 3
Yeah.
trial deck has.
Uh-huh.
But her off finisher effect is an icy tail, but we'll get to that later. So if that had still been the way it was, on cancel, spawn Yune, do thing. Granted, that's more minus to hand, but that's just one of the options.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm now living in a world where the fucking cancel Musashi thing is a thing, and I do want to put that in a set at some point. So I appreciate the idea that we got out of doing this recording a second time.
cancel spawn.
Oh,
You're welcome.
that's so good. It's so fucking good.
I really like this card, actually.
Hmm.
It's just so
I'm giving it that. The fact that the final ability is not once per turn is what I think pushes it over the edge for me. And you still have the heal, because Musashi's normally an on play effect, like your level
Yep.
3 effect.
yeah.
Hmm.
No notes. 10 out of 10. All right.
Next cards. This is the level 3 Lucia. On play from hand, you can ditch one character and use the parity replay skill, which is choose up to two characters in your opponent's waiting room and place them on open positions of your opponent's center stage. So basically, spawn characters for on reverse effects. When this card is placed on stage from hand, if you have four or more other Tellius characters, you can put one character from your waiting room back into stock. So
Needs a level 3 effect. Still.
I thought we said that first effect was the level 3.
No, because Neapolitan doesn't do that. She's different. She has the climax thing as her actual level 3 effect. But yeah, you have deck with reverses. This card goes in that, and we
Mm-hmm.
do blatantly in the shot combo deck. So
Mm-hmm. Trying to think if there's any other on reverse combo. There's an off finisher in green. There's a combo in green that also has an on reverse effect. Red technically has one if you're playing that version. Blue, not really.
so there are places that you can put this in. It's not hard to splash yellow, as we've mentioned. And this card will only technically get better because it will end up with an actual level 3 effect instead of the current layout that it has right now. the way that you do it,
You can make the level 3 effect like draw 2, discard 2, stock 1.
yeah,
That
just
gets you the same like
Mm-hmm. Sure.
efficiency.
yeah. You could also leave every effect on this, drop it by 500 and put that on, and then she literally just completely pays for yourself if you have the full board, which is funny. Oh yeah, the one thing that was weird was that it's currently not traded character that she stocks, but that's
Yeah.
nitpicking.
Oh well.
She's a tech. She's a fine tech. She'll only get better.
Oh yeah.
Agree. Another Crimea character. Yeah, Volk pretty much covered it. It's good. Card's good.
You can play her with the Joffrey and then just get a free stock. That's pretty pog.
Oh yeah.
Pog.
That's
It
pretty
is
neat.
pretty dope.
All right.
Actually,
And then
synergistic because
so
they're
if your opponent has like
they're brother and sister. Actually,
Oh
good.
yeah.
that's why
Yeah,
it works
Lucia
like
and Joffrey.
If your opponent like crashes or like their entire front row is empty for some reason, you can do the Joffrey thing, get the stock, and then because you did the discard summon to, you can leave the Joffrey there and like then do 2 of the shot combo. So and you have 2 reverses, so it, like all they can't be fucked with basically.
Right.
Oh wait, did the shot combo also get hexproof anyway?
Only on the turn that it's played with the level 2's effect.
Yeah. So if it lives a turn and then you go to level 3, like it wouldn't have hexproof on that go round.
Yeah.
Well, it still might be worth playing.
Yeah.
You're definitely playing the spawn card. I don't know if the Joffrey's needed in the shot deck,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe.
It's a soul trigger if nothing else. But again, you can just run disciples if you wanted more soul.
But also you're in shot, not choice, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Alrighty. With that,
Last card in yellow.
the event judgment.
This one has not changed.
Look, the tower! Exclamation mark. 3/2 with a counter. Can only be played if you have the goddess. Put the top 10 cards of your deck into your winning room, then deal X damage to your opponent. X is the number of disciples of the order sent by this effect. It's comparable to a T Wisdom. We debated about that for a bit, but ultimately it's like you're not playing a deck where you'd hit more than like 3 or maybe 4 of these at a time because you're playing a reasonable deck. You're a reasonable human being instead of a person who sleeves like 30 disciples of order and into like climaxes the level 3
Deck is just
level
Ashura, Disciples, and Oliver. That's it.
Yeah. You're not one of those humans. You play like an actual level 0 lineup. You play like insurance plans so that you can actually like get the materials together you need to Ashura, which takes a little bit of effort. You're playing the aura just because you have aura. That's a thing the kids say. I don't know what it means. I'm not that old. I shouldn't be saying those words anyway. It's a burn event.
Got the aura.
It's a defensive burn event. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I still like this card. And this is gonna sound very like stupid to say. This played a lot better when the other event was broken.
For sure.
Because like you had all the defensive burn. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's like the deck was better when the shit was like too good. You
Broken.
know, it's just I don't think that makes it.
It's not
I
controversial.
still think like playing into the defensive burn stuff is like pretty cool because you have the 2-0 event and then you have this like on top of it. You're doing a lot of like burn on your opponent's turn, and yeah, you might only be able to do all the chain stuff like that at level 3, but it's like pretty cool. Also, the tower looks like the one from Symphogear, kind of. So,
Just for the lore dump, I guess, to finish off. Unless y'all want to do letter grades first, but I can do the lore now. Ashura is in the top of this tower, and she's been sleeping there for centuries by the end of the game. And the whole reason she's up there is that the people of the continent that this tower is on promised to not go to war while she slept for 1,000 years. They didn't follow that promise fucking at all. And she eventually wakes up because of it. And the whole promise was that if they fucking didn't do what she said, that she was just going to destroy the world and start over because they were too chaotic.
And they were.
And the only reason she didn't destroy the world is because they fucking found a loophole in that contract and woke her up a different way right before they were about to fuck up with the war shit. So the other half of Ashura got to also chime in on that decision and saved some of them.
I also think, like, event-wise, right? I think all of these events get bonus points because your Fuka Zero is so good. So, like,
They are
yeah,
all
you might be like, oh, well, how are you going to get this to hand? And it's like, well, you have a really good clean cut that's also a Fuka Zero to grab your events.
Thanks, Leaf.
Yes.
I mean, it's like really good, like really, like they would probably never print it good, but mathematically, it's allowed.
Yeah, like, just, CF, like 15 minutes into this video when we gushed about her. You were here for it.
You were here for it.
You saw.
We were all there. We saw it.
You saw.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, yeah, it only gets played in that deck, but like, it's really good in that deck.
I will say,
with the
every color just about has an event that is searchable by that Fuka Zero, except for red.
What?
I don't think red has an event. I might be forgetting what it is. But
oh no, there. Let's go back. I'm gonna go back to the beginning screen. I think I saw red had an event. Every color has an event. Yellow's got 3, green's got 2, blue's got 2, and red's got 1.
Yes, red does have one event.
And because it's not a level 0 event, because you didn't do that, it's still searchable.
Yes.
There also are actually level 0 events, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
yes,
the red event is not
anymore.
fantastic, but it is a card you play in a deck.
Fair. Do what you gotta do.
Because what you could do, right, if you really wanted an event that follows modern event rules and it has a level requirement, but didn't want it to get picked up by the Fuka Zero for whatever reason, you just give it like text that says this is a level 0 in all other zones or something.
Oh god.
Like just like weird shit. I don't know why you wouldn't want your event to be grabbed by a Fuka Zero, but maybe like you printed something really strong.
You put it as like a downside so you can pay for it to have counter.
Oof, then it'd be that, man, that makes it even rougher, because like how else are you gonna get this thing other than raw dogging it?
Well, that
raw drawing it.
Print binder. Bonder. You'd print, you'd give it a good Sriracha wrap. That'd be fine.
That's whatever. All right. Gadget, how do you feel about this card? I know you didn't like it the first time. How do you feel about it now?
I still don't like it.
E-Wisdom is awesome, and you're wrong.
All right.
Read.
Say less. I mean,
actually...
set as Fuka Zero so you can get it index, but you're not fixing for yellow to play this, so no. It's just kind of.
I mean, you're only playing it in this shitty army deck. You have to be playing yellow anyway.
Yeah.
The army card is yellow. It's like, no, I'm not going to be playing a single yellow card. You cannot make me play one this stage. I'm only fixing yellow for this event. I don't care how many disciples I have in my hand. I'm not playing one.
Pay to burn nothing. Fuck.
My hand has 10 cards. All of them are disciples.
Jesus.
I refuse to play any disciples to the field. You will not see me playing yellow.
You cannot make me pay my taxes. God. All right. With that, that's the end of Yellow. Tune in next time, where we hopefully record green instead of another take of this. All right. Peace.
Peace.